you wanna. That you don't know how to act. Make a bitch wanna fucking suck you all night long from the back. That you don't know how to act. I wish I never let you hit it from the back.
Gaming Bets, online betting for every esports fan. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and Overwatch, StarCraft 2, the choice is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2? Make a prediction for picks and bans. Playing CSGO? Guess the number of rounds in a certain match. Daily quests for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to G2A.com Dota Pit Season 5 LAN here in Split, Croatia. We're about to hop into our second series of Day 2 action, and what a hype series it is. Digital Chaos versus Team Secret. I'm ready to go, and I'm back at my panel. We got some fresh faces back in action here. We got Lacoste and Gods. Welcome, gentlemen. We just witnessed also in our previous series, EG able to take down Team Faceless after a 3-game struggle. Felt a lot closer than many were expecting. Lacoste, what was your take on the series?
Well, this was the best series to watch for everyone, I think, so far. Faceless did surprisingly well. I think a little bit of lack of experience for them cost them the game. And the third one, I like the first picks. The picks in the first game, they were really awesome and they executed it really well. For the third game, I think EG is just too good.
They are really good.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we'll be seeing that Black Pudge again this tournament or not, but it's probably going to be something on the radar for the upcoming lower bracket matchup.
Probably going to be banned.
Oh, for sure. God, you got to cast the game. Ridiculous. The stomp at the end to even cancel
hype.
those TP.
Yeah.
It was very, very hype.
It really was like a nice little teaser coming into this match. But yeah, Faceless definitely impressed a lot of people, and I think Lacoste at best, EG just kind of too good at the end. They just the more experienced veteran team. They knew how to play those late game scenarios better, and that carried them across the finish line.
I don't know, maybe that fight at the Roche Pit, third game, when Magnus just used the ulti.
Yeah.
That was when EG just rushed to their base.
All right, gentlemen. Well, we got to get into this matchup now. Digital Chaos versus Team Secret. Let's start with Secret here. If I'm not mistaken, this is the only team at the tournament who has not competitively played in this patch at all. But we know these players, they're high caliber players. Should Secret fans be a little concerned about that fact?
Well, I think we need to know how strong the Team Secret is. They have been struggling before, and after the ROG Masters, after they won it, they seem really good. But it's a test for them and for their fans to see how strong they actually are. They brought Kazu in, and since then, it seems like it's working out for them.
It's a team that wasn't weak by any means during the Boston Major qualifiers. They got into the playoffs. They were very competitive. It was Adfinum who were red hot and VP who were like one of the best teams in Europe at the time who they lost to. So I think even that Secret was still like very close to being a top tier 1 team. They lost for it, brought in Kezu. I think that's kind of brought in maybe more stable presence for it. Was a big playmaker, but Kezu very stable, consistent in that offlane role.
I did have a little bit of time, we may show it or not, that I got to sit down actually with Puppy, and I was it was a bit intriguing because this guy had been off the radar, his team had been off the radar for a bit. I didn't know what to expect. They knew they were going to be coming into this and playing against the big dogs here with the lack of experience, but he seemed very optimistic. He said that he felt good with his team, that the team was a team that wanted to have fun, and you know, he felt like they're bringing an MP. He's very stoic. He knows how to play the core role. Kazu's great at listening to, you know, what objectives are necessary. I mean, what do you think we're going to be expecting from them? We know what has worked for them in the past. What do you think they're going to be leaning towards? Going back with what worked? Do you think this is going to be a team that comes in with new strategies and new ideas?
Well, it's Puppy. You never know what you can expect from him. Always some unorthodox picks and always bringing something new to the table. So I think we can expect good games from Secret.
What do you think would have been like a home play style for them? Are they a team that's more of that like 5-man push down? Are they like a more farming oriented kind of a team? What style really touches home with the Team Secret?
I mean, historically, they've been maybe a bit, at least the more recent rosters have been a bit scrappier. When you had Eternal Envy on the team, there was a lot more split push, a bit farm heavier. Now they brought in mid one, it's much more about the aggression. They're playing faster, they're playing high tempo. Mid one's the player they're going to look to play around. If you talk about Secret's play style, I think you have to kind of start with mid one and what he brings to the team.
Now let's go over to Digital Chaos now. This is the team probably coming to this event that many would say is probably the favorite just based on their recent success. They have shown that they can play in this patch and compete with some of the best. They have, of course, that championship win at ESL Genting. That was actually their first LAN win, but we know before that they've already kind of, you know, solidified their spot as a top tier team. But what are we expecting from them? There are rumors and people saying that they might be taking this event perhaps a little easy. You know, you already got that big win. Maybe an invite is already coming your way. What do you think Digital Chaos is going to be bringing to Dota Pit?
I'm sure they want to beat Secret, though. You know, if they're taking it easy, they'll take it easy after this match. They want to beat Secret first.
Everyone's going to be watching this match, and it's like, who wants to be left? Who wants to be right? You know, it does matter, don't you think? I mean, I don't know. In your history, if you've had a lot of grudge matches going against other competitors, even though it's a tournament, maybe you're looking to take easy. There are some teams I'm sure you go against that's like, no, we got to win this game. We have to win against this team.
Yeah, there's always some background stories, so there's more for you to win the game actually. So more eager to win it.
Now we're getting ready to load into our first draft of the game, but I want to pose this question to you. You have Misery on one side, of course, and Puppy. Who's the better drafter?
Well, Misery overall over the time became really calm and like super smart. So I believe in Misery this game, this series.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the last 4 or 5 years, there have been many periods where Puppy's the best drafter, but at TI, Misery was like the best drafter at that tournament.
Oh yeah.
He really carried his team through his great drafting into that grand finals. So at this point, maybe give Misery a bit of an edge, but we'll see. It's a new patch. It's hard to know who's maybe figured out what they want to play, how they want to play, and adapted faster.
All right, we're all super excited about this one. Just want to quickly remind you guys to be sure to head over to g2a.com/DotaPit to get involved in all those giveaways involving graphics cards, processors, and of course Dota cosmetics. But here we go, Digital Chaos leading in, banning right away and taking out the Wisp. The response, and still on track record here, 100% ban pick, Slardar's got to go. Underlord also going to be taken out. We saw the potency of it in our last series in the hands of EG. We will not see it in this series.
Do you think Secret's going to ban Meepo in the first phase?
If they don't, they have a plan to verse it and beat it, because wouldn't be surprised to see DC just snag it up.
If they don't ban it, do you think DC is going to pick it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, to me, it's like probably the most OP hero on this patch right now. Not to say like it should be picked. I mean, I think it should be picked more, but you've got to have a good Meepo play to really utilize the
He
hero.
levels up so fast, and his talent trees are one of the best, if not the best, in the game.
Gentlemen, what about the infamous Shadow Demon Luna? I mean, it was a staple in the previous patch. Teams will still tend to go for it from time to time, especially if it's going to be available.
Some teams, though, I feel like, I mean, I don't know what Secret's going to do. We saw last game that Luna, game 1 for EG, got 4th picked. Shadow Demon got not even banned or picked in the first stage. He got like 3rd or 4th banned. So it seems those teams didn't prioritize as much.
Yeah, nice call. They're going to just not even bother with the Meepo.
Shadow Demon for DC, probably. Yeah, because they know Secret plays a lot of Shadow Demon Luna. There's going to be Rubik and Luna or not. Okay.
That's a hero I thought they'd be playing a lot. When you ask what is Secret going to do, I'm thinking they want to pick mid one Ember Spirit. It was historically like his best hero on Fnatic. Back in the Fnatic days, like he just carried and won games off of his Ember Spirit. So I think this is a hero they're going to want to give mid one a lot.
But I mean, it doesn't feel like a little bit of a drafting advantage now for DC because they commit for the Shadow Demon, and you know that Secret's like, well, we have to take the Luna now. And because they want to commit and get mid one hero 2, they just show their hand right away and say these are going to be our 2 cores.
Oh yeah, DC can do absolutely everything they want now. They know exactly what the 2 main cores are going to be. They can look to counterpick the lane matchups. They can get one of like the good matchups versus Ember, like get the Ursa mid, get the Invoker mid. They are in a position of strength as far as not revealing anything with their draft.
Yeah, they have a lot of hero pool for the mid, since Viha is one of the most versatile players. He's like really good on Queen of Pain, Invoker, whatever you name it.
This is a guy who started, or at least his namesake had started by just being a Meepo spammer. He played Meepo all the time. He actually also played a lot of Earth Spirit at the time, and that was it. And suddenly he's getting onto these big teams. He started with the Balkan Bears, of course, and then he got his big time like jumping into like a team secret. And then we started to see his hero pool evolve. It was like Windrunners from time to time back at Nanyang, Invokers, which it looks like we're going to be seeing here and now, and it already get that wonderful pairing with the Shadow Demon too.
This is a team that learned a lot from Newbie in that best of 5 against at ESL. They ended up beating them, and I think one of the things they learned was how to play on that dire side with the aggro trial lanes, using the shrine right by that tier 2 tower. And with the Shadow Demon, I wouldn't be surprised to see them looking to even contest that bottom lane.
A ban of the Enigma. I wonder if that's respect to Puppy or to this new rumored off-lane Enigma thing. Yeah,
I was saying it like yesterday, I think, that Enigma should have been played offlane. I'm surprised no one picked it yet. Maybe they...
It was banned last game, and Kezu played a lot when he was with Escape. So this is like a, I think, target ban a bit of Kezu.
All right.
Oh, and another very popular pickup who's found much success this tournament, Earth Spirit, of course.
I would like to actually see the win rate on this tournament for Earth Spirit so far. It's like really high.
Yeah, it's almost like it was like 88% after yesterday, and I believe it's almost won every game today so far. I'm not sure on that one, so it's definitely up there. The Spirits have been having a wonderful tournament so far. Except Storm, forget that guy.
Digital Chaos needs some lockdown for Ember. I think one more hero, probably a Misery hero. Or what do they prefer to play? Sand King off lane or
Legion Commander is
Legion
like another,
Commander?
yeah.
Fan of the dazzle here.
Turn to pick.
Good defensive hero. Sounds good success, in particular with OG yesterday. And was always a Puppey classic, of course. Speaking of Puppey classics, any room in here to mix in something like the Chen or any sort of jungling hero that, you know,
10
Secret
seconds
or
remaining.
Puppey like to pull out time to time?
Last game we saw Chen, that was the
5
first appearance on the
seconds
tournament. I don't find it so strong because jungle was nerfed. It's really good if you just
Reserve
pressure
time.
it from the really start. And well, we saw how strong it is when he stomped with that centaur, like
DC's
stopping 2 or
turn
3
to pick.
men tipping to the base. That was like really good.
Another core hero, in theory, could be a support, but Nyx
I guess
secured and grabbed up.
I guess they picked up Nyx because of the Ember Spirit, so
That's true, protects the Ember.
seconds remaining.
Digital Chaos doesn't get it. It's really easy to stun Ember
5
for like,
seconds
what, 4
remaining.
seconds?
Stops heroes like Bat Rider being picked up as
Yeah.
well, which is a hero that Moon plays a lot of.
Reserve time.
Whatever happened, I know some teams had still thrown into the rotation, but the support Kunkka used to be a classic pairing with something like the Shadow Demon, might be able to help catch something as mobile and elusive as Ember Spirit. I mean, past couple of tournaments, it was a top-tier pick, but it's since fallen off.
You have a point for the X mark, but his ulti was really, really nerfed.
Yeah,
last
he
patch.
got hit pretty hard by the frog. So we might not be so much of the pirate here.
Let's talk about Pudge a bit. Like this hero,
Yeah, that's a hero Misery
tremendously
plays.
strong,
Yeah.
and is. I guess he has also high win ratio as well.
Yeah.
Misery can play it really good.
And with the new like pull camps around the tier 2 towers in the offlane, it's always very easy to get levels and farm and deny that farm.
What do you
and
think about that? Some people are looking at that as kind of like a,
I don't like it.
should that be allowed? That seems a bit too easy.
No,
A bit
yeah.
too easy to manipulate.
It's one of those things where one of the old patches, they had a camp which you could pull to the mid lane. Being able to do pulls behind tier 1 towers just seems like it shouldn't exist. You can't contest it. You can contest
10
pulls
seconds
between the
remaining.
two tier 1s because that's where the lane meets. But if it's behind towers, like there's nothing you can
5
do to stop it.
seconds remaining.
Pulls you should always be able to stop and contest.
Except do it yourself. And then we'll break even at that point, I guess. But
Reserve
here we go,
time.
moving forward. Digital Chaos, another popular pickup so far this tournament. The Lifestealer are going to be coming out. They're not afraid to also show their core, knowing full well what they're going to be going against here on the side of Secret. And then a
Silencer.
Silencer comes out.
Oh.
First of the tournament. Had been banned a couple of
turn
times
to
yesterday,
pick.
but this time he shows himself.
I really love the pick in the Silencer. Once the Ember goes in, and with Nyx Assassin, they have a good initiation. He can just use the global and just they have a few seconds free to do whatever they want. And Silencer is like
seconds
with
remaining.
new talent tree. He can just transition into semi-carry,
5
yeah.
carry late
seconds
game.
remaining.
Also good at shutting down maybe a Shadow Demon, let's say, who's trying to get in that clutch save. If you want to really make sure you
Reserve
get the
time.
isolation takedown of the Lifesteal or Invoker,
Yeah, you
he
have a-
can be there to ensure
You
it.
have a free initiation.
Yeah. Go back to Digital Chaos side. You got to consider maybe BKB or Lotus or some way to deal with it. It's time to get out maybe your next
Why-
support.
They need maybe a mech carry hero so he can switch to Guardian Greaves.
Yeah.
That's one point.
And if we're looking at that, then maybe the off lane could be something
10
suitable here. A Moon
seconds
Meander here. You used to play a lot of
Maybe a
Tide
Tide Hunter, yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
great minds think alike,
Tide.
don't they?
The Dux
5
is still there as well if they want to do
seconds
some like Darkseer, Spirit Breaker type lane.
That's true.
Sand King.
Sand King.
Sand
Not a Greaves hero, but a
Team
Lotus Orb
Secret's
hero.
Turn to ban.
Yep. It does help him a bit in the initiation department. Plus something for the Lifestealer to hop in, let's say.
This is a team that often gives Moon 1v1 matchups. I still wonder if they're going to try go for some kind of an aggro lane with a Shadow Demon Lifestealer plus some kind of like Leshrac or something to
10
follow up a
seconds
disruption.
remaining.
Maybe they can do a tri-lane with Shadow Demon, Lifestealer and
seconds
Sand King and
remaining.
still pick an off-lane hero. I mean, the hero who's going to be solo on the safe lane or on the
Reserve
off lane.
time.
Do have to be careful with that Silencer in game. You don't want to be getting shut down when you're trying to make that big team fight impact here. But we'll be moving into our final set of bans right now. Final potential support for the side of DC. Gonna have to get X'd out here. I mean, when you look at the lineup of Digital Chaos here, what does it look like they might be missing, like a hole in their game so far? We have decent team fight, of course, with the Sand King. You have fair tower pushing, of course, with the Lifestealer and the Invoker.
They've ticked most of the boxes. I mean, you've got good lanes, yeah. You've got a good initiator in the Sand King. You've got defensive save from the Shadow Demon Disruption as well. So probably just, I mean, they can really head a lot of different directions. Someone who can influence the lanes. I think they're looking for that high impact roaming type hero, the Pudge, the Spirit Breaker, something that can be just very influential for the first 5 to 10 minutes of the game. Maybe that's the Sand King if they're playing him as a support, but I think more likely we see Moon playing Sand King.
This also seems like one of the first drafts that we're seeing a Rubik not get banned or picked too.
I'm surprised that DC didn't even ban or pick Rubik. I think it's either one of those for DC. They either ban it or pick it. But they had to go for, I mean, they went for Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon and the Rubik are not that strong of a combo together.
Well, they'll get rid of the Omni Knight here. Favoring it would have been a free BKB and obviously a way to sustain on DC.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like they need a mech carrier who can remove, maybe later on with Gordian Greaves, remove that silence. And just turn the fight around.
Pudge will get banned by DC on this one. Interesting.
Puppy also was playing quite a bit of the Pudge
himself,
going back, yeah.
Now we're looking for what seems to be possibly that misery grab here. Someone to roam around and make an impact through the laning stage. We don't have access to the Earth Spirit here, but plenty of others who can fill that role. And Bounty Hunter is one of them. First appearance here at Dota Pit.
If you can see him.
If you can see him, yeah. I mean, he's not a Ricky at the end of the day, so. But now you have that way to kind of really snowball too. If you're able to kind of make that early to mid-game impact, you get the track gold online and provides the vision for extra sunstrikes and setups, and obviously will allow them to really build up the economy.
And it's a mech hero as well from the 4th position, so someone that can go into the Greave. If you get enough track kills, you'll get some good farm.
And then Ogre Magi comes out as the final grab for Team Secret here. So there is our full draft spread for both of these teams. Guys, take it in right now.
I must say I like Team Secret's pick a lot more. Like it seems more complex, like they have pretty much everything.
They don't have the best save. Like if someone gets initiated on, I mean, they've got the global silence, but that hero could die very fast. But their lanes are very strong. The Ogre matches up well against the Bounty Hunter. The Silencer gives them a great follow-up to any kind of Nyx or Ember initiation. So,
well, if Digital Chaos go on Silencer, for example, Sand King with Nyx in him and just insta-kill him, I think the team fight is going to be in favor of DC. So we'll see how it's going to work out.
Sounds fair. Let's go ahead and throw things over to our commentary team right now for our first game of our epic second series of Digital Chaos versus Team Secret. Your casters are going to be Odie Pixel and Merlini. Take it away, guys.
Thank you very much indeed, Dakota. We're ready here for this game one of this best of 3 series. Team Secret up against DC. A lot of interest in this matchup, and it's both teams really got a lot to prove. There's a lot on stake here, more than just the tournament position, but this matchup, it means everything for both sides, doesn't it, Ben?
It surely does. I'm looking at the start of the game, and Secret are actually very slow at getting outside of the base. No one TP'd out. They even had to buy the chicken, which took a few extra seconds. Normally, this stuff is instantaneous. Boom, you have chicken, you have 2 wards, you have 2 Plotangos, smoke, TP scroll, drop obs wards. This all happens within first 5 seconds of the game. But for Secret, it's all a little bit slow. They're just casually walking out, thinking about what items they want to buy.
Not popping down any of the obs.
Yeah, DC already have 2 set up. You can already tell that they just seem way more practiced at the very least.
Misery already getting into position to scout at the movement, and we'll see that Pi has still got one of the wards in his hands.
They don't have any dust either on Team Secret. Just 1 pair of sentries split in between the Silencer and the Ember Spirit. So Bounty Hunter probably going to have a really easy time stealing bounty runes, sniping chickens perhaps. Let's see where he turns to.
Yeah, we'll see which lane Misery heads to. In terms of the lanes as it starts, it looks like both sides are going to keep stuff on the safe lane, just sending the off laners on their own to begin with. Do you like this? Is there someone that's going to have an easier laning stage out of the 2 drafts?
I think that Sand King should have a way easier time. I think Lifestealer is one of the best heroes at killing the Nyx Assassin. You want a hero that can get out of the deal with the Carapace very easily. Slark, Juggernaut, Lifestealer, the Magic Immunity heroes, very popular in this patch and for very good reason. Sand King, he's up versus a pretty short range hero in the Luna, and Puppey might have a difficult time zoning him out, especially with the Bounty Hunter coming in from the side.
Yeah, we'll see what Misery's plan is as he heads down to get a fuse eye on this. Obviously, Puppey, yeah, very vulnerable on the silence at incredibly low armor. And Moon as well. Once he gets a couple of levels, they do have to be careful of the potential of this bottom lane at the moment. MP and Puppey just doing their best to harass back the Sand King. Mid lane, in fact, Secret going in pretty heavily onto Weehar, bringing him down low. Does have a salve. And mid one at the moment. 5 for 2 against the Invokers, 0 for 0. So this presence of Pylar and the Ogre causing a fair few issues for Weehar in the early stages.
It's not that big of a deal because he's Quaswex. Quaswex is so much easier to recover because you don't have to rely on any items to fight in the early game, and you have the Quas regen, so it makes things a lot easier. And you have Ghost Walk readily available to you, so it's a whole lot safer for him.
Yeah, Pi just incredibly aggressive with his stance here, wrapping around the tower. And at the moment, no kind of backup coming in for Weehar. As you said, because he can come back, is that the best way for DC to play it? Just look to put their efforts elsewhere on the map?
Yeah, I think they're getting a lot out of their top lane. Shadow Demon's able to pull. I think more so they need to secure at least 2 of the Bounty runes. And Bounty Hunter kind of running in. Ogre Magi is kind of getting sandwiched over here. If he stays in the river, he's going to be in a lot of trouble dealing with that Cold Snap. Tornado is not invoked yet, just EMP. Tornado dispels of Bloodlust too, so that's also quite annoying for Team Secret.
Yeah, Misery just keeping eyes out on there on the movement, and we'll be able to get the Bounty rune here away from Puppey as he heads across this time. Misery getting the money. Mid lane, still the matchup mid one and Weehar 13 for 7. The lead's still there. Weehar struggling to get himself back into this early CS game. Bottom lane, Moon getting a few CS from the off lane. The 2 safe laners at the moment, MP 8 for 0 and a Resolution 15 for 6. So as you said, definitely seeming that DC are able to protect their safe laner and ensure that they get this early game farm just that little bit better at the moment against the enemy off laner.
Yeah, I think Sand King's one of the better offlaners at the moment. He can apply pressure in most one-on-one situations, and especially when you deal with very low-range supports like the Ogre Magi, very low-range carry like the Luna, he can get away with so much with that Caustic Finale.
Yeah, but, I mean, it definitely feels at the moment it's Secret taking control of the mid lane, but in return they are sacking the success of their side lanes.
Yeah, the Ogre Magi was able to sweep the Dire Bounty Rune too, so Bounty Rune at 2 minutes went 2 for 2. Ember and Invoker are at the same level, so that's really good for Secret, but they're able to... Mid one's in a little bit of trouble. If he's not able to connect with the Tornado, he could potentially get him really low, at least force him to pop the Fairy Fire.
Do you imagine we're going to see kind of a rotation from Secret at all to do anything about the side lane situation? Or
I think there's always an inherent threat with the Bounty Hunter lineup. Like,
yeah.
If you don't show, every lane has to play a little bit differently. So I think they have... things will get better, I think, especially come nighttime for the Dire side. Invoker feels very safe. Like, 2 melee heroes, like the Ogre and the Ember Spirit, can't really kill him, I would say, as long as he doesn't use his Tornado EMP frivolously.
For the time being as well, Pylar did head down to the bottom lane. Moon is going to head back, going to look to pick up the 4-minute rune, by the looks of it, with this movement, and Misery. So just keeping eyes on the progression of Kezu now, as he's headed away from the lane. Misery will be able to, again, take these bounty runes away from Secret. He managed to do it bottom against Puppey, ends up doing it here against Kezu. But the Bounty Hunter staying true to his name here in the early game.
Yep, not the kind of bounty that he wants, though. No kills yet. And things could change. Shadow Demon and Bounty Hunter probably pressuring the... Oh, he's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, straight away with the EMP. Mid one looks to slide Fist Duke it out, but he may still be in trouble with Misery coming around with the wraparound. There's the kill he was looking for. Misery to kick the game off, getting himself first blood on the map for DC.
That was a very nice slight. Normally you'll see like 302 or 203 on the Ember Spirit, but the 1-level sight allowed him to dodge the EMP, which would have been a fair amount of damage. It also slows down the Invoker because he doesn't get the mana back from that mana drain, so he's kind of limited in his spell choice at the moment. He can't even combo EMP and Cold Snap.
Misery and Saxa ready to look to move across for even more. They do have the sentry down. They'll see Misery come across. Puppey immediately with the curse, with the Lucent Beam. Is it going to be enough control? That's the question. Saxa has a defensive disruption. Misery tries to get himself out of range, but the dust is out. Misery's down. Moon coming across, looking to help his team, but Saxa is going to fall as well. This time it's Secret coming out on top. They've taken 2. Puppey will just about survive as he gets himself away, and this time it's DC just getting a little too over-aggressive, and the vision game paying off for Secret.
I'm not exactly sure what Moon was waiting for. There was at least a 2-man stun available to him, and definitely could have gotten a silencer kill. Maybe he was worried about giving up his own life there, but I think that DC expected some sort of help from him aside from the right clicks and the caustic.
Saxa, again, ready to come back round to mid as soon as he's back up. Looking for the setup onto mid one. To close the gap with the EMP. Cold snap, but again, mid one. He's just juking it out each and every time with the sleight of fist. Tries to turn. In fact, does manage to root Wee under the tower, but it looks like, has he got enough damage with these tower hits? It's going to be bringing Weehaw low, not quite low enough. Weehaw will salve up, get the tower aggro off him, and both mid laners will be able to keep themselves alive.
They don't have that much time to go on the Ember Spirit because of him being level 6 very, very soon. He's just one creep away, and it makes it really easy to slight when there's additional units from the disruption, so that's not particularly working in Digital Chaos's favor at the moment. I really do like that one level of slight though. It's something that you don't see very often, but it seems like he's played this matchup many, many times.
MP now starting to get a bit more space down here on the bottom lane. The supports of Secret have left him alone, so he's getting that solo XP. Moon has also left the lane, backing up to the jungle, trying to keep up the farm and maybe even be able to catch out Secret with a rotation as he leaves it once more. Misery making the pulls, getting some good levels as well on the Bounty Hunter. Level 4 at the moment. And looks like, once again, Weehaw has managed to catch up with this Ember Spirit. 23 to the 30. Regardless of that early start and the early pressure that Pylai was putting on in that mid lane with his Ogre presence. Invoker is catching back up. And of course, Resolution continuing to sit firmly at the top of the farm board. A 50-24. Perfect CS pretty much at the moment. Bottom lane, DC aren't going to be in trouble. He gets the Burrow Strike out. No sort of silence to kick in beforehand. And Moon will be able to walk it off. So again, Puppey and Pylai with that movement. Unable to find the kill. At the least, still just keeping this lane safe for Luna.
She's going to feel a lot more threatened once Bounty Hunter hits level 6. You have to worry about the Infest Bomb with those two. Like, Global Silence isn't going to save you if he just quickly pops Windwalk and then pops his Shuriken and then Lifestealer pops Open Wounds and Rage. This can all happen in like under half a second, and there's very little chance the Silencer or the Luna can actually react to that unless you have like a Force Staff. But I can foresee them putting a lot of pressure on the Luna, and it looks like they perhaps want to get tracked for that.
Again, we are seeing these attempts onto the Sand King, but it's pretty hard to do so. We're seeing with the Silencer, Puppey's trying to make something happen, but it's very hard. You know, it kind of just lays down the curse, but of course, just because it silences after the use of the spell, he's always able to Burrow Strike away.
And he has the Raindrop, so he built very defensively in this lane. He has 9 stick charges, Tranquils, and Raindrop, so it's going to take a lot to kill him. They see mid one doing some of the neutrals, perhaps trying to get Nyx Assassin to level 6 in the mid lane, and things might start to heat up soon as Track is online just in a couple of minutes, and Vendetta is up in just a little bit. But DC already prepared. They have sentries in the mid lane, more likely than not to cover the Bounty Hunter's tracks earlier, but now it will serve dual purpose as they can figure out where Nyx is going to be.
Came for kind of a sweep there for his own jungle, maybe just seeing if they could catch out the Bounty Hunter of sorts. At top lane, this space has been given to Rezo and Saxa to start applying pressure to the tower. Kezu coming back across, and now TP in from Pylai, looking to ward DC away from their tier 1. And they will do so, but Misery, he gets the courier snipe and he gets himself out. So Misery continuing to be very annoying for the side of Secret, stealing bounty runes, taking first blood, and getting a courier kill. All in all, these early stages of the game, I'm 3 for 1, but the farm's certainly looking very good for some of DC's cores. Feels fairly even to you, Ben, or do you feel that someone is having the better time?
I think they really need the global silence on Silencer. I think once he hits that, Secret's teamfight is going to be a lot better, but DC have a lot more map presence with the Bounty Hunter and the Lifestealer. I think it depends a lot on what the Bounty Hunter can do, who he can scout out, if they can avoid the Nyx ganks, how many track kills they get, if they can like continue to pressure in between global silence cooldowns. It's all up in the air.
And Misery again coming across. They do have a good amount of sentry coverage in their own jungle here, Secret. Misery will get down in obs. Again, taking another bounty rune from the side. MP was heading over, seeing if he was able to grab it himself, but it's not going to be the case, so ended up being wasted time for the Luna on his travels. And top lane, once again, the creep wave comes through. Resolution and Saxon remaining adamant with this push onto this top. Kezu still trying to do his best to draw the aggro of the creeps back around from it, but maybe he has to be a bit careful himself if Misery decides to head over. Gets down another good ward. They've got some very nice deep ward coverage here over Secret's half of the map, DC. Making it a little safer for Misery to make these sort of movements.
I really like how Kezu pre-invis. There was a line drawn from Puppey from mid to top lane, knowing that Bounty Hunter was going to go there, track him, and they would just straight up kill the next assassin. But if he's pre-invis, there's no way that they can actually scout him out, at least not under the tower.
Puppey's found him here. The smoke will be dispelled on Puppey, and in reaction, immediately Dustin, he's caught out Misery, and with the help of Mid1 and Pi, they'll take down the Bounty Hunter. So good movement. They'll get the deny in the tower as well. Nice bit of play there from Secret.
Yeah, that's a really good read, knowing exactly what the Bounty Hunter is going to do. That kill would have put him to 6 too, so that was very important that they actually avoided the kill, got the kill on the Bounty Hunter, and ended up denying the tower. However, it is still a tower fallen for them, and DC, I would say, don't really have the better pushing lineup, not with the Luna's early game potential. I don't see a creep from her yet. She's held the Helmet Dominator in her stash for a pretty long time, so this chicken snipe is actually severely impairing the Luna's growth. She could have probably stacked Ancients, I think, twice now, or, you know, pressured some of the lanes, got a few more CS with that Helmet Dominator.
Bottom lane, Weehar pushing in, standing his ground. Has he stayed across a little too long? Maybe. The root's onto 2. Weehar turns around with the tornado, knocks them back. Moon's there as well to help out, kicking up the epicenter, ready to go in, and immediately onto the other spirit, bringing him down low. Mid1, he's out. They've found one. Kezu comes out of the Vendetta. They're looking to try and punish DC in return, and they will find one kill, but Resolution's turned up. DC in full force. They pick up a second. Misery will tick down to the curse of Puppey. 2 for 2. Pi will TP away successfully. Puppey hiding in the trees. Has no TP. Fair bit of money on him as well. He starts to spend out. It looks like they won't come hunting for him, so Puppey will live to tell the tale, and the TP is getting sent the way out of him. What do you think about this as well, Puppey? Going for the Helmet of the Dominator on Silencer.
I'm not exactly sure which creep he's going to get on it. Like, none of the creeps seem particularly good, but it is a pretty decent support item. Like, they already have one from the Luna, so if they wanted Frost Armor to deal with the Lifestealer, if they want to like Purge to deal with the Track, they would already have that available to them. So I'm a little curious to see what he's going to do with that. I haven't seen this from support silencers.
Bottom lane, Moon and Resolution finding Mid1, but immediately reminiscing away. Will be safe. Not quite enough burst there through that initial jump to take him down. That's something that Secret do definitely have to be careful about, this potential jump in. Mid lane, Kezu looking to set up, but a nice sentry from Saxa will make sure that Kezu isn't able to find anything. In fact, he may be in trouble himself. There's going to be the jump in from Moon, but there's a backup. Mid1 and Pi come in. They look to punish Moon. Moon stays alive. Surely he doesn't get out of this one, and he won't. The tower will take him out. They did get the kill onto Kezu, though, so both offlaners losing their life there in that mid lane skirmish. And Resolution actually wrapping around from behind. Looks like he won't go in though. Already his teammates backing up, keeping themselves away from the mid. Where Secret, they do have a pretty strong 3-man standing there at the moment.
There's no way they can actually catch out the Lifestealer unless he doesn't have Rage Up, but he can Rage out of, I would say, anything that they can throw at him, aside from Global Silence, which was just used in the last engagement. It is up in a few seconds, but Nyx Assassin is kind of nowhere to be found. He's their main initiation, unless they can coordinate like an Ember jump in with a Global Silence, but right now there's not really any good targets. Sand King they don't really want to all in on because he just has his Blink Dagger already. Lifestealer is just a very difficult target to kill, and no one else is really showing in a vulnerable position. So looks like they're trying to wrap around on mid. MP finally has his Helmet Dominator. Ember almost popped the smoke with that Remnant. And
Moons was dispelled. Can they get the jump? Resolution just revealing himself in the mid as Moon will jump in immediately. Puppey there with the reactive Global Silence. They'll look to turn towards Resolution, but as you said, not a lot they can do to take him down. Puppey will actually end up finishing off the Shadow Demon there with the curse. So they do get themselves one of the kills, and they do manage to keep Mid1 alive. And well, I was just seeing how powerful that global silence is in reaction to DC trying to make a jump on someone.
Yeah, they did save the Ember's life, and they did get a Shadow Demon kill out of it. I think it's a really good time for DC to pressure with the global silence off cooldown on cooldown for 100 seconds. And Sentry War going on in mid, we will clean it up. Wee's actually getting pretty farmed too. He will have a tool to deal with the global silence in the form of the Yules. I'm curious to see what the other people are going to go for. Usually you'll see Greaves, one hero with Greaves, one hero is Lotus, a couple of Yules perhaps. Manta, BKB are all common options. I'm not sure if Lifestealer is going to opt for anything different because he should be tanky enough to withstand any sort of attack. So this is the trade-off with using Global Silence. Is it really worth it for them? I would say DC got the better end of the trade with that use of the Global Silence because they're able to sweep down all of these T1 towers and severely limit the ability of Secret not only to farm but to cover their base with Sentry Wards to prevent the Bounty Hunter from doing whatever he wants.
I'm talking about the Bounty Hunter, moving across with the Lifestealer inside in Misery and Resolution, looking to get some work done.
They're looking for the heroes behind. Puppey is not in the fog. He is prime target.
He really is. There's not a lot he can do to escape being jumped on by the two of them. And of course, this is what they find in Puppey. He's actually going to be able to find the SD again. Saxa out of position. Misery, does he still want to try and make a go on this with Resolution? They're looking for Puppey to be soloed out and move out to the side. Puppey, can he survive through this? With the helm, he's fairly tanky. And in fact, Puppey, he's going to live. No. Moon will there be there to finish off the job. But the question is, how much can they pay for it? MP pops the Eclipse. They turn towards Resolution. A huge kill for Secret. Can they get any more? Moon already backing away. Sentry's down. They've caught out Misery. Mid one jumps across to make sure Secret get another double kill for MP. And Secret finding a very, very good trade. And, I mean, we're seeing that helm pay off. They didn't burst down the silo immediately because of that regen ban.
He had that little bit of extra move speed, too, from that Kobold. Secret are just slightly better with their movements right now, slightly quicker than DC. If they were there, like, maybe 2-3 seconds earlier, I think they could have just popped the silencer, and then Shadow Demon also wouldn't have died because solo Nyx Assassin would have a lot of trouble killing that Shadow Demon. So DC just missed that gank and that tower defend by a couple of seconds, but you know, there were only three people there for them: Sand King, the Bounty Hunter, and the Lifestealer. After the Shadow Demon died, Invoker just prioritizing farming up his items and just getting huge in the meantime. He is still not even close to #1 on net worth. Luna and shortly behind is the Lifestealer.
Yeah, we've seen MP just balance really nicely the combination of farming and turning up to these fights.
And Nyx has actually gone for a max spiked carry base build, not even the 1 point in the mana burn. It did really work well versus the Lifestealer. He was stunned for what seemed like ages. Combine that with the Eclipse at the end.
Oh, again, another courier death here on the side of the Radiant. DC, you have to pick it off time and time again.
And let's see if Puppey still sticks with the Kobold format. I think the Kobold format is actually pretty nice. It's kind of like having your own track in terms of move speed.
Yeah, for sure, 12%. Certainly pays off when you're trying to kite off these heroes running at you like the Lifestealer.
Yeah, and there's a fair amount of slows too. Caustic Slow, Open Wounds, Demonic Purge, Ice Wall.
Mid one again. Sleight of fist duking the Tornado. It's paying off. Yeah, we do talk about kind of this Invoker build being the counter to the Invoker, but as long as you got fast fingers and good timing, you can still play around it as the Ember.
Another thing that he does, he doesn't use his Flame Guard as soon as he goes into a fight. He uses it after Tornado comes. So that's also another way to deal with it, because Invoker is generally going to have Tornado because it's one of the best counter initiation spells in the game. Well, Kezu kind of wrapping around the back. Saxa is invis unbeknownst to Kezu. Kezu maybe thinking about comboing with Global, but they don't have any teammates nearby. MP is out on his lonesome. They actually scan behind to know that he's alone. This could be a really trying time for MP.
Who's going to find who here? You've got DC wrapping around. They are going to be the ones to try and make an opening, but immediately the global silence in return. DC, they have to back off. They can't go for MP. Kezu catching out Weehard with the stun, but he needs the follow-up. Pai's on his way over, but Rezo turns immediately in onto Kezu, chopping him down low. MP with the damage has already ripped through the Shadow Demon Resolution, focusing the Ogre with the track gold as well. They're going to start to rack it up. Double kill for Rezo. DC knocking down 3 of Secret. Only mid one and MP to survive. They can't take trades like that, Secret, at this point of the game where track kills coming into play and more money going into Resolution's pocket. And thanks to that fight, pretty much putting him back on level with the farm of MP's Luna.
I think the next assassin was just slightly too far out there. He went on the Invoker, but no one was around. He just got tracked up and killed. If Secret could have possibly pulled back to the Shrine or fought around the Luna in her Eclipse, then I think it would have been a much better fight for Secret, but there was just no teamwork in that. They had the global silence to save the Luna, but aside from that, it was just death and destruction everywhere. I like Moon's build too. He went for a hood, so he can actually stay in the fight. A lot of times you'll see Sand Kings, they like, you know, burrow strike in, just sit in Sandstorm and kind of wait around for their next burrow strike cooldown, but I think this Sand King wants to be a lot more involved. Like, he can just straight tank this and not really care, apply Caustic to as many people as he wants to, and just free up space for the Invoker and the Lifestealer.
They're trying their best to hammer into Moon, but as you mentioned, with this hood, can he actually survive? That's the question. He will be able to burrow strike away. He'll live for the moment being. They try and jump forward with the Ember Spirit. They will be held back by the Yule Scepter. Turns his attention towards Saxa. Puppey, Empire are in the neighborhood as well. Resolution turning up with a good stun from Moon. They might even just be able to kill him if one. He has one more remnant down to the low ground. Will get himself away. Weehaw, he's going to look to chase it down, and with the cold snap, Weehaw gets it, takes down the Ember. Puppey trying to turn to Wee, but Wee, he's got friends. Moon and Rezo in on Puppey. Puppey's out as well. DC punishing Secret heavily for that play. Again, there's this risky point of the map, trying to dive for kills around that shrine bed.
This is why I really like Moon as an offlaner. He's like not afraid to die for his team or make plays like that. A lot of the like offlaners play very, very like safely in the team fight, just go for, you know, double, triple impales. But the way that Moon plays, he just totally lured Secret to a terrible place. You're fighting right below the shrine, and he didn't even pop his hood until he was at like 300 HP. So
more Secret.
He forced Ember to go in
they
way
want to
too deep.
contest this, maybe Kezu. He's spotting it out. There's a sentry here. Can they make the jump? Puppey does have the global silence. They'll move him. Roshan's out, but Weeha's already picked up the Aegis. They'll get the objective. Secret still wanting to fight, though. Good stun onto Sax. So that'll be one down. They pop the Eclipse, but already DC are out of there. Moon just playing around on the sidelines. He's going to be fine as he blinks away. So DC get the Roche kill. They get the Aegis. And all they lose is Saxa, which is unfortunate for the Shadow Demon. But Saxa, he's kind of been taken one for the team so far this game. Has died 5 times, but
luckily
absolutely worth it. Yeah,
he's an in hero, so he doesn't have troubles with the mana. The saddest thing is when you're like a Pudge or some hero with like not that great of a mana pool, and you have to
you're
buy
losing the
mana
intelligence.
It's okay if he takes one for the team. He has arcane boots and stick, so he can die a lot more times before he's starved.
For sure, Puppey. Still a fair bit at the moment, 18, not bad at all, and now opting to have the Alpha Wolf chase him around, so that's got that extra bit of punch on the silencer.
Maybe he wants to transition to a carry build later.
It looks like phase boost and helm.
I think he's thinking too far into the game though. Like, at what point are you actually going to be able to do a ton of damage without?
And immediately coming in with the upset, but it's not enough damage here. Oh, okay, looks like it is. The Alpha Wolf, yeah, it will pop him. The question is if they could punish Moon. The silence kicks him from the curse. Twilight Eye turning up as well. They're keeping him under the tower. The hood, though, isn't quite enough. I mean, the hood certainly makes them work for it.
That Arcane Rune made it so easy for him. He was almost permanently rooted. Well, yeah, the thing about Silencer, though, is like he doesn't match up that well versus the Lifestealer in the later game, because Lifestealer has Rage, and that's most of your damage is from the pure damage from the Glaives of Wisdom. Puppey is stealing a lot of intel. I would say 18 is quite a fair amount for a Silencer in this phase of the game. But once he gets like Dragonlance and the 25 talent, 200 attack range, he is actually crazy in terms of his attack range. But I don't know if they'll get there. And they have a Luna, who I think will just easily outscale the Silencer.
Bottom lane Resolution and Misery coming out with the Lifestealer bomb. We'll take down one, but Secret, they want to punish. Immediately getting the chains onto Misery. They'll take down the Bounty Hunter. Finding the 1-for-1 trade there down on the bottom. Saxa looking to set up for more with Resolution coming back in onto MP as well, and MP just melts there. The power, again, I mean, it's this Shadow Demon with the Soul Catcher, Demonic Purge, and getting those Lunar Illusions back on MP.
And look at where he is. He's like right outside of his T3 tower with like 3 or 4 teammates behind him. And
they couldn't do anything.
They really couldn't. This is... They banned the Dazzle, they took the Shadow Demons. There's not many good heroes. They banned the Omni Knight themselves. Luna is just dead to rights in that sort of situation. And what item are you going to get to help you from that? Like BKB, I suppose. But Lifestealer will still just chew through your BKB in the middle of a team fight, especially if you have Soul Catcher on.
DC to settle down and split back up. after putting that pressure on and getting that big Luna kill. Feeling very confident with the position that they're in so far this game. They are starting to get a significant lead, reaching close to the 10,000 mark at this point.
Yes, they are. Track Gold kind of at play here. Secret are ahead in kills, but a lot of them have been on poor Saksa.
And Kezu, 1600 towards his Blink Dagger, eyeing up some action on this top lane. Has a sentry down himself, so can feel fairly safe on this one. Interesting from Weehar as well. FaZe, Aghanim's yours, and opting for the BKB here, so ready to turn full force to the fights, I guess, with that build. And not feel too scared. Once again, though, Misery able to snipe the courier. Looks like they will punish him for it. I think it's pretty much the third time he's been able to find it this game.
And they still get a tower despite losing one of their heroes. Wee is out in front.
Secret want to find something mid one. Gets the lockdown on to weaken his players way out of this one. He has the Yule Scepter Global coming through, trying to back up, but Kezu with a good stun holds Weihar in place. They'll take him down once. They were also able to find Saxa on the sidelines. Resolution coming across with Moon as well with a huge epicenter in the middle of it all, but the eclipse from MP shreds through Weihar. Moon to fall as well, and only Resolution able to get himself up to the high ground, but the chase isn't over. Secret continuing to move in, looking for the Lifestealer as well, and they may just find it. Mid one in immediately with the chains. Resolution surrounded, and Secret team wiping DC there.
DC bit off way more than they could chew. They got the T2, and they should have been pretty happy with that, but for some reason they started beating on the Shrine. The Shrine's also still active, and they got like a couple of hits in, and they're like, wait, what are we doing here? This is terrible for us. We don't have all 5 of our people. Invoker doesn't have a BKB yet, so he just got destroyed by the Eclipse, and Secret were just 5 strong and just crushed them.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Puppey now 28 stolen intelligence. Looking very good for himself. Has a 4-staff complete as well thanks to that. Again, though, look at these illusions. Saxa gets them out, nearly shredding through Pylite Eye, but it's actually going to be Saxa that's in trouble again. Mid one just jumping to the back lines, taking down the Shadow Demon.
Dire's middle tower
Ensuring that
is
Secret
under
can get a
attack.
good bit of damage done to this tier 2. They'll start to back off now, though, with Weehar and Resolution just about to respawn. 21 to 14. We'll have a look at the graph. I imagine we'll see a little bit of a swing, and indeed, off the back of that fight, really starting to kick in. Secret
Dire's top tower
managing to
is under
start to
attack.
grab a hold back of this game.
At the same time, DC are looking for ways to deal with that global silence. We have the Greaves up on the Bounty Hunter. We have a Lotus Orb up on the Sand King, and the BKB very close to being picked up by the Invoker. So that's 3 heroes, and they can easily save the Lifesteal, let's say, Lotus Orb into Rage, and
Dire's
they don't have the
top
physical
tower is
damage to
under
really
attack.
burst through the Rage right now, especially with Armor toggled on. So might need to look for some other ways to deal with the team fight. Last fight was a ton of magic damage with the Silencer and the Luna kind of being the big team fight ultimates that carried them through that fight, but they're going to start to need Luna to have her Butterfly and other items very soon. But luckily for them, Luna's way on top of the net worth.
Absolutely is off the back of those last few fights. MP having a fantastic performance so far. 9 for 2 for 9, 20 minutes in, 240 CS. Has just been no downtime at all for this Luna. Consistently in the places that he needs to be. Kezu ready to set up for a bit of scouting here towards the top. Has the backup of Puppey and Pi. Can they actually make a go? And well, the question is they shouldn't want to. There's a lot of backup here for DC. Secret, oh no, caught out, but Kezu is there with the response. Mid one jumps forward. Global holds the back, but Weehar with the newly found BKB pops it, and he's ready to fight. Turns towards Puppey, tracked up, but Puppey forces himself away, will survive for the time being. Moon jumping forward, trying to chase him down, but the series change from mid one. Hold back the Sand King. Secret just collapsing onto him. Moon's out, and mid one's not done. Jumps forward towards Saxa. The change there once more. Sleight of fist to take down another. It's a double kill for mid one. And DC, they have to question how close they stick around to this fight. They need to get themselves out of the last 3 of them. And they're not going to be given that option. Mid one jumps forward again with the chains, allowing MP to close the gap. Weehar immediately ghost walks out, has Resolution inside him. Looks like he will be the safe vessel to get him back to safety. Again, these fights, I mean, it looks like Secret walking through with 3, but mid one, he just appears out of nowhere each and every time. We're talking about MP's performance, but mid one in terms of just setting up the fight, just making sure that one kill, it just spirals into a second and into a third.
He's really quick about the slight chains too. He likes to get the Sand King. Sand King's the most vulnerable hero because he doesn't actually have a Yules. Yules is the most common pickup for the Sand King to deal with the chains. So you can't burrow strike out of it, so he's just a sitting duck at that point. And he already used a Lotus Orb to deal with the Global Silence. So I do really like Moon One's play. He's always at the edge, but always close enough to get the slight chains on multiple heroes. And he's also farming well despite Luna taking up a lot of farm on the map. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's more impressive that he's able to keep this up.
Misery could be in trouble. They draw up a sentry. They didn't actually have any dust on them. It was just the sentry ward, so no way of chasing him deeper down the tower, so Misery will be fine. Moon putting pressure in on the mid lane. Bottom lane, you have Resolution, feeling confident to farm down it because of the reveal of heroes up on the top.
Roshan is up very, very soon, and Secret have way stronger team fight as demonstrated by the last two. They just destroy them with the Ember Spirit, Sleight of Fist, Searing Chains. They're pretty much getting kills every single one of those cooldowns. And Ember Spirit actually takes different talents than normal. Normally you'll see the all stats. Oh man.
Talking about Ember Spirit.
Yep.
Jumped in the middle of the base. Resolution will TP out, but Moon, he is going to pay for that one, but I think he'll be saying absolutely worth knocking down mid one for a full minute and getting a tasty bit of money as well, as we can see Moon getting money. Did he manage to spend it before he went down there? Doesn't look like he did. No, so he did lose a chunk of it.
So Ember took 8 armor, which is pretty surprising. Normally you'll get the cooldown reduction because it synergizes way better with like Blade Mail
that's true, isn't it?
Chains, but I think he's scared about just dying to Lifestealer. I think they don't really have that much magic damage that can kill him. Just pretty much the epicenter, which really hasn't proven to be that big of a problem in the team fights thus far. But it's cool to see the 8 armor being picked up now and then. 8 armor is a lot, especially combined with the Veil. Quite tanky.
Well, up towards top Misery with the gem now, ready to continue to get that control of the map. Mid lane Resolution being slightly eyed up by MP, who's very, very close to having the completed Skadi. Still with an insane amount of farm at this point of the game, 31 minutes in. And a comfortable 3k ahead of Weeha. And of course, that's an Invoker with a Midas. MP as well, looking to get even further ahead as they head into the Roshan pit. DC, we'll see if they're aware of this. They've got the ward here, so they'll see Kezu sitting just outside of it all. So maybe aware indeed, but at the same time, Secret do scan it out. They know that DC is nearby in the neighborhood. Question is who's going to get the jump on who first. Can DC stop Secret getting away with this? MP already bringing it down incredibly low with the help of Pi, who has that solo crest. And MP, he will get the Roshan, will take the Aegis. DC just not feeling confident enough to jump in and try and contest it, Ben.
Well, that double HOD actually working out pretty well for them. That they didn't even really take any damage on the Luna. They just had the HOD creep tank it. And also, I really like the Luna's position inside the pit. Like, he's not deep inside the pit. He can easily escape without using BKB if he wants to. He's sitting right at the edge, pretty much the furthest away you can stand from Roche, and still be able to attack.
I'll take your never refuse.
Interesting as well, yeah, Puppy, as you talked about, kind of going for this core, but he's getting a lot of farm. He's on par with what Kezu has. He's got Phase, Force, Helm, and now has the money for the completed Rod of Atos. He's not doing too bad for himself at all.
He has a lot of HP too. 2,000 is very difficult for some of the heroes to deal with. Like, Lifestealer is going to have a lot of issues because of the Force Staff, and like he doesn't really have that much help in terms of damage. Invoker isn't able to really output as much damage as DC would like in these team fights. Shadow Demon's constantly been dying too. I think he mostly gets a disruption on the Luna, but it doesn't seem like that's enough for them to actually win any of the team fights. Bounty Hunter really doesn't do that much damage, so it's pretty much all Life Steal and Invoker with Sand King there to set up.
DC, not to be deterred by the fact that Secret have the Aegis on their hands, as they immediately shove in on the bottom lane, force out the fortification, start to back off. There's going to be the catch though, immediately in with the chains. They'll force Resolution closer to them there. And can they finish him off? That's the question. The Lotus Orb has been laid down onto him. Doesn't look like they have enough damage. There'll be the Rod of Atos, but a defensive destruction from Saxa, trying to save Frezzo. He'll turn towards MP, but MP pops the BKB, tries to man up a Sun Strike. It's going to be juked off. MP heads out away from it. They get the stun onto Misery. Misery will be taken down. The rest of DC will escape. So Misery this time sort of taking one for the team, as they will get everyone else out of there. Got a bit of damage done, but still, as we're seeing, Secret's hold is very, very scary and very, very hard for DC to get too much done. And and just to find a kill in return. They've just got to kind of tuck their tails and run at each time that MP and Mid-1 turn up to the fights at this point of the game because of the lead that their cores have.
And Gem lost on top of that. The Lifestealer has been kited extremely well in these fights. And I think he was silenced for a good 10 seconds perhaps. Only the defensive disruption was able to save him. Allowed him to pop his rage, but Luna way too strong now for him to fight toe-to-toe. Maybe a couple lucky bashes, and perhaps, but even then he has Aegis, and everyone would have just swooped in. Ember Spirit's been in little to no pressure in these fights, I would say. He's kind of free to do whatever he wants, and he's getting to that point where he is just going to be able to do incredible amounts of damage and just not controlled at all. There is no Orchid on the Invoker. Normally you'll see the Crosswex Invoker transition to Orchid. So this
he's working straight for the Hex, but he's still got a bit of a way to go for it.
It frees up the Ember Spirit to do a lot more when he doesn't have to worry about any silences. There are 0 silences on Dire side.
Secret heading over. Has been scanned out by the Dire, but still just the range that Mid-1 can have in terms of initiation. Jumping past the tower. And again, poor old Saxa taken down, and Secret now in prime position to push up to the high ground. MP being backed up by the Solar Crest of Pi. Still has that Aegis as well. What can DC do to stop this? They're a man down for 30 seconds. Fortification, it's going to stop a little bit of the damage, but now Moon trying his best to buy time for the team, jumping in with the Burrow Strike, but MP just continues to sit there, still has the Aegis, still has the BKB, not a lot that he needs to be scared of, as he mans up, looks to take it down. Mid-1, again jumping off the backliners, Puppy's there with the Global Silence, there'll be a Yules to hold Mid-1 up in place, and he's fine because Secret have found the space to clear out the mid-melee racks. They back off. And we're just seeing how DC are struggling to punish the plays of Secret. Secret just have the game plan down, and DC, I mean, what's their answer, Ben? How do they punish this kind of movement of this play from Secret? Which it feels like Secret could just go for this down another lane, and DC still, they need that Hex, as you said, they need that lockdown, they need an answer to these cores of Secret.
They need the Invoker to be ridiculously strong in these team fights. I haven't really felt him do that much in many of these team fights. Definitely Blast isn't really working out for them. Like the Tornado EMP is pretty underwhelming. He has max Exort now, so he can drop some meteors, but I think it's more so like Secret have way more AoE control too. Nyx can stun multiple people at once. Luna's hitting everyone with their glaives. They all have to run at the sight of an Eclipse. Whereas DC, it's all a lot of single target, which means 4 staff's going to be extremely useful, and they have 2 of them up right now. And under the strength of the Aegis, there is just very little stopping Secret. But Aegis is about to expire just about 5 seconds time, and perhaps DC can look to make a move. They need to get a kill on one of these important cores, Ember Spirit or Luna in particular. Nyx Assassin I don't think is really going to cut it for them, but Nyx Assassin is going to have Ags and about 2,000 gold, so now they have to start worrying about that.
A lot of things that need to be on the minds of DC. Aegis has now timed out for MP, so that's a little bit of good news for DC. They need to see if they can try and do something with it. Weehard desperately trying to race his farm towards getting that Hex complete resolution as well, trying to do his best to keep up with the pace of MP's farm. Looking straight towards getting the full out Miona done next.
Luna also took the Lucent Beam damage and the armor. They actually built quite differently than normal in terms of the talent trees. 40 Lucent Beam is not that much, but added up over Eclipse, and if they're not focusing you really, and you don't need the health, I guess health might not be the best thing versus the Lifestealer too, because of Feast.
Yeah, I guess attack speed wise, you've got a lot of sources of that anyway with the Bloodlust.
Especially Bloodlust. And Nyx Assassin too also went very defensive. 175 health and 10 strength. I think 175 health is standard, but 10 strength versus 25 agility is, gold wise, it's a no-brainer, but in terms of actual utility, him having more agility is a little bit more armor, so it wouldn't be that bad for him, but 10 strength he deems more valuable.
Interesting decisions here from Secret. DC with a smoke up. We're inside the jungle of Secrets, but Secret just standing tall on their high ground, making sure that they're not caught out. MP very close to his next big item, Butterfly, round the corner. And of course at this stage of the game, we're not going to be seeing an MKB or any sort of blood form around the corner anytime soon, so the evasion going to be absolutely massive for this Luna that's already incredibly stacked.
And they've been doing a really good job of keeping track of the Shadow Demon and preventing him from just mass spamming disruption on the Luna. Like, she doesn't have to build a link into this game, and she probably feels pretty great about not having to do that and not have to worry about the Shadow Demon because mid one is protecting MP so well.
And this time Secret with a smoke of their own. Heading over to the east side of DC's jungle. And we'll see how far they want to go through with the sweep around. Kezu and mid-one leading the way, but being a little hesitant to see the TP through from Wii onto the mid lane.
They have to fight around sentries. They don't have a gem on themselves, so Moon could be walking into a trap if he's not very careful. And he has no idea. Like, Nyx could be right on top of him right now, and he wouldn't know.
And Kezu's ready to come back in. Once again with the Vendetta. Looking to get some vision for the team. MP pushing in onto the tier 2. There will actually be the use of the fortification here from DC. There's the jump in from mid-1 immediately in return. Coming through with the burst strike. mid-1 getting focused down, but he's forced back, and now MP, Kezu, and Puppey turn up. Turn towards Misery. Misery taken down. Weehar's coming in from the sideline with the wraparound. The Tornado Deafening Blast combo not quite enough to bring down any of the members of Secret. As again, DC just have to kind of throw their spells in, back off Weehar. Can he get himself back in? They've got the setup onto MP. Look at the illusions go with Moon jumping in with the epicenter. Again, it's not quite enough. They'll be able to force back the Luna. MP just surviving again in time. I think it's both kind of Puppey and Kezu with these 4-star plays saving the teammates. It's going to mean that Puppey himself hasn't got the 4-star to save him. So DC now starting to find some kills on the come around. Look towards Pylight Die. They'll take down a second. So they will get the 2 supports as Secret. So this time DC, for pretty much seems like the first time in a few team fights, able to kick back and do some damage themselves.
We did a good job of splitting Secret's focus. Like, they were focused on maybe pushing down that hill, going up to the T3 and on those heroes over there, but with him coming in on the left side, they were actually in a strange position. Like, half of them were going left, half of them were going right, and then they almost picked out the Luna with the epicenter of the sinking. That would have been really big for them, but the Forceps proved to be a continuous thorn in DC's side.
Blessings upon a loyal
Absolutely,
warrior.
just saving each other left and right. Good opening for DC though. Immediately into the pit. Secret still with 2 members down. Even if Puppey was up, there's no global silence. So great time for DC to go in. Are Secret going to want to try and do anything about this? I mean, that's the question.
They don't have a shrine. There's no shrine there, so it's very difficult.
Yeah.
And Moon is walking around making sure that there is no smoke shenanigans going on here.
Can mid-1, can he go for a play now? It's going to be too late. Resolution, able to grab himself the Aegis. Cheese still on the floor, he'll take that as well. So DC starting to get some key objectives complete. Aghanim's done for Moon. Maelstrom done for the Lifestealer. And overall, if we have a look at the net worth graph, we indeed are starting to see it swing back around once again. DC did have the lead out coming out of the lane stage into the mid game. Secret were able to recover a fair bit, but now it's getting back close to the even point. A very close game indeed. 27-17, 42 minutes between DC and Secret. Still could go both ways, man.
Mjolnir on Lifesteal is an interesting choice. Normally you'll see the AC at this point, but I think he's realizing that he just cannot do that much damage. He can't get MKB right now just because he's kind of slot starred. He also doesn't have the money to deal with the butterfly. So instead he's going to try and do as much damage as he can by tanking up with Rage and perhaps Mjolniring himself.
Moon finding mid-1. Mid-1 immediately looking to Remnant Juke away from Resolution. So they won't get the catch, and Puppey actually popping the global silence as well, trying to save him. Resolution just continues to move forward. Looking towards Puppey, but Puppey slides down to the right. There's the burst strike from Moon, catching out Puppey. Resolution trying to close the gap, but the Purge creep there slowing down Resolution, so he can't close the gap. MP now turns towards him. Resolution, he can't quite get Puppey. They're constantly slowing down. Finally comes forward, but Kezu's there, saving Puppey with the stun. Puppey turns back around. Surge Truck isn't going to catch MP. He's forced out of the way. Resolution to fall. Aegis hits the ground. Weehar's out as well. MP looking to clean up as a Moon, falling low. The illusions from MP kind of being turned upon themselves for Sax against them out. Resolution coming back in with the second life, but the evasion, he can't quite get the punches through onto MP. MP forced to the right, 3 dead on DC. Resolution's just rounded. He should go down as well here as bam, the remnants come through from mid-1. DC losing 4. And Secret just about pulling that team fight off again. Incredibly close. Some of the cores falling almost to their death there, but they just about do it, Ben. They hold on, and they will get the goal advantage out of that one. About 2,500 lead off the back of that.
You asked me
very,
earlier
very
about
intense fight.
Puppey's Helmet Dominator. That definitely saved
that Purge creep there.
It destroyed Resolution. He had the Lotus Orb on him, but it doesn't matter if you reflect it back to the Satyrs.
Yeah.
Satyr doesn't care about being purged.
Dyer's bottom
So,
tower is
yeah,
under attack.
he just got kited continuously. He also didn't have that much damage. He did go for the Mjolnir instead of the MKB, and he wasn't able to hit the Luna at all. Luna was at like critical HP, 20%, perhaps just needed a couple of hits to connect, but I also think he had his Echo Saber in his backpack because he had to make room for the Aegis, so he didn't have as much damage as he normally would. And now they're struggling for ways to actually finish off this Luna, who has an incredible amount of HP with 3265.
Pi. We'll drop down the ward hit. It looks like Saxo and Weehar were questioning if they could get close enough to punish him for it. I mean, the kind of frequency of these fights certainly paying off for Puppey. I mean, still 42 stolen intelligence and 3.3k gold in the bank. Is going to be interesting to see where Puppey goes next with his build. Does he finish up the Hurricane Pike, or does he look for something a little bit bigger now on the silencer?
I think Pike and Scythe are both very, very good at this point. I think the Ogre is also making a big difference with the items. I think the Solar Crest is really good. It just makes Lifestealers like miserable. And on top of that, he's very close to a Force Staff. And Force Staffs, they can't kill anyone. There's so much single target damage.
This game. Yeah, the amount of kite that Secret's been able to pull off against Resolution has certainly done it for them in these fights here. Misery will dispel some of the smoke. They're going to head the wrong way though. Secret jump forward. They're not going to find a hero. They will of course find the shrine immediately. Looking to take it down. DC. They might want to contest this though. Moon has the epicenter at the ready. Mid want to get there with these chains, making sure any sort of blink initiation is going to be hard. Defensive disruption. Sax are able to get the blink out just in time. MP though pots the BKB. He wants to fight, charging straight forward towards them. Won't quite get them. They can't quite get a latch onto DC, so DC keep themselves safe and sound and back up. MP will have burnt through a BKB charge for that one, but they did end up finishing off the shrine.
Getting worse and worse for DC. They can't even fight when Global's not used. And like Ember Spirit is just ridiculously strong with these fights too. Luna gave them the vision that they needed to go all the way downhill and catch those two with the chains. And once you're stanking his chains, it's very easy to just bum rush them if they like.
And mid one 450 or so away from a completed Octarine Court. DC go for a smoke themselves. See if they catch anyone out from Secret pushing up this top lane, but at the moment Secret pretty much holding hands as they retreat up on the top. Kezu now with the Aghanim Scepter, something else that's going to be incredibly infuriating for DC to cope with in these team fights.
Silencer actually went for Shiva's Guard. He wants to be able to tank the Lifestealer.
I mean, yeah. It is a tanky Silencer, 28 armor, over 2k HP. It's no longer that hero that you can kind of look to pick off on the back lines.
Yeah, definitely not. And if they don't kill the Silencer during the rage, the Lifestealer is just going to be kited forever. In between Last Word and then Force Staffs and then Atos on top of that. Like, it's Shiva's. Like, his damage is so low. I think it was the right choice for him to go Mjolnir, though, just because of how many kiting tools they have. He's just there to tank so that someone else can do damage, and that has to be Wii. Wii does not have Refresher, nor does he have Octarine. He's also going more lockdown style with the Scythe of Vice to hopefully kill someone with the aid of the Lifestealer, but I don't actually know where the damage is coming from.
He's going for the Refresher now. He's about 2/3 of the way towards it. But still, they need that time. They need to get that item on for him. I mean, looking again towards Resolution, level 23, is there any... Yeah, is MKB queued up next? As we've seen, they need that item, because without that, it's very unlikely they're killing MP in these team fights.
Yep. They need the Invoker, I think, to bait out all the BKBs with the Refresher. And then after he refreshes, he can actually do a lot of damage once their BKBs are down. So he's still a little bit away. He's very close. He actually sold his Midas, didn't backpack it like you'll see sometimes. Perhaps just kind of wanting that extra influx of gold right now. It's not that great putting in your backpack a lot of times just because it takes forever for it to cool down. And it seems like he just wants that 1,000 gold ASAP. Just, 200 gold away from that Refresher Orb.
He's getting closer and closer and closer. Mid lane, DC not doing their best to make sure that Secret can't climb up to the high ground. We saw earlier that Secret obviously take down the melee ranks, but ever since that, DC's high ground defense has certainly been enough to slow down the pace of Secret in terms of getting buildings. In terms of getting items, though, that hasn't been the case, as we've seen Secret continuing to progress with very strong farm. Misery now feeling the confidence to come out and have a look around, see what he can find. Kezu is there with the gem. Not quite get the grab. Of course, Misery as well with his own gem. So both of these sneaky heroes spotting each other out across the map. Overall, though, look at the swing. Secret now reaching up to a 15,000 net worth The swing has really come into full force. We saw Secret able to pick it up from a DC lead, and still now it's up to DC to pick the game back up from a strong lead of Secrets.
Roshan kind of eyed up next. The net worth graph. Oh.
Mid lane immediately in. Onto Saxa. Weehar puts the BKB Ghost Walk. He is out. Moon's in though. Jumps forward with the Burrow Strike. I'll look to chase him down. MP's put the BKB. Won't be able to get the catch onto him as Moon blinks away. So once again, Saxa, the lone man going down. Global Silence was used for that though. Can they do anything with this opening from DC? That's the question. They'll buy back on the Shadow Demon, but Moon just gets ripped to pieces. He's out for 80 seconds and does not have the money for buyback. Moon is out.
He got Searing Chains. It's so good versus the Sand King.
Yeah, especially with that extra level 25 with the extra 2 seconds.
Monitor was off.
See what they can do. Jumping forward, Refresher Orb now complete on Wii. He goes full in for the purchase. No buyback will be available for him as well. So fully committing to this hold, and they need to. If they wish to hold on to this second set of racks up on the top lane. Jump forward from mid one, looking towards Saxa. Tornado, there's the setup from Weehar, refreshes, looking for the second spell, can't quite get it out, posts the BKB, now looking to charge forward. Kezu buried up, but he's forced down to the low ground, kept safe by his teammates. DC can't quite find the lock-in. Mid one can though, jumps in, hit the 2-man chains. We are in a lot of trouble. He's already used the refresher and the BKB, hasn't got money for buyback, can't allow himself to be taken down. The chains just holding back Resolution and Misery. The Glaze pummeling through from MP. Resolution's down low. DC now with 2 men on the sidelines, no buyback available on them. And MP, they just can't bring down this man. He's too strong on the Luna. GG is called, and Secret take game 1, 35-18. The Luna, the Ember Spirit, they're too strong, Ben.
What the heck was that refresher? He like Tornado? I think he might have tried to hex him, but I was waiting for some sick combos. I don't know. Maybe he hasn't been in demo mode enough.
It did feel like We Are this game just, he struggled to find kind of those flashy plays that we know We Are can pull off. I mean, do you think it was just down to the fact that mid one was just able to hit such a better stride with the Ember Spirit flow this game?
Well, that's definitely for sure. Like, Ember played ridiculously well with the early game side of chains. That's the hardest part for the Ember Spirit. But I don't know, the item buildup was a little strange too. Like, he didn't go for an Orchid or any way to deal with Ember Spirit. Yules can't catch an Ember Spirit out. He was just remming it out immediately after. No big deal, right? So, I don't know. It didn't really seem like Resolution and we were in sync, because I think Misery was dying a lot. He was scouting out, but where was the damage coming from? Moon set it up all for them. Resolution got kited, so the lone factor was, I think, we being able to just dump tons of spells onto Team Secret.
Absolutely. Team Secret turning up today. A lot of people were excited to see how they would perform in game 1 already against DC, looking very, very strong indeed. I'll be interested to see if the Ember Spirit and the Luna are let into their hands again in game 2, though, as mid one and MP showing us how good they are with these heroes. And Puppey Silencer with a bit of an innovative build, Phase Boost, Helm of the Dominator. We saw time and time again him doing it with the Purge Creep and such. And game 2 right round the corner. We'll see if Secret can do it again, take it away from DC, or DC could bring the series to a best of 3 game 3. We'll see you very shortly.
Gaming Bets, online betting for every esports fan. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and Overwatch, StarCraft 2, the choice is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2? Make a prediction for picks and bans.
Playing CSGO? Guess the number of rounds in a certain match.
Daily quests for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.
Welcome back, everybody, to the G2A.com Dota Pit Season 5 LAN here. We're still coming at you live, of course, from Split, Croatia in-house right now. We just concluded our first game of our second series. It was Team Secret going against Digital Chaos. Very hype matchup, hype game number 1. Back at the panel, of course, with Lacoste and Gods. Lacoste, I heard you're a big Dota Cosmetics graphics card and AMD processor fan. Is that true?
It is.
Well, I got to tell you something here. If you go to G2A.com/giveaways, you might be able to get some yourself.
Wow. But if you check this G2A cap,
That's a
and
pretty dang
what's
cool
beneath it,
G2A.com
it's
cap.
a banana.
The banana you can't get by going to G2A.com, so just don't even bother with that.
It's not for sale.
Anyways, gentlemen, welcome back. A pretty awesome game number 1. Secret actually take it against DC, and for a team that really didn't have much experience of 7.0, they actually look pretty damn sharp.
Yeah, they look really strong. We were wondering how strong they are. I think they showed us.
What do you think, Gods?
Very back and forth game. Both teams showed a lot of promise. The biggest issue for DC, like you look at the big picture, was the lifesteal in these fights just kept getting kited. He kept pulled around the 4-stuffs, the Rod of Atos later on the silencer. He was having a really big problem bursting a hero down. He didn't have that Slider partner. He had a Sand King to invest in, but without other minus armor, it just didn't feel like anyone he went on would actually die. So.
Let's talk about the laning phase a little bit, though, because at the start, it looked very promising for Digital Chaos. You had Moon Meander able to pull like what felt like 30 CS or so within 7 minutes. Of course, that helps that his team was rallied behind him in the laning phase for that. But then that means that someone like Resolution on the other side of the map is bringing in like 80 CS or so within 10 minutes with a bulk of denies to go with it. So you have DC really bringing in a lot of the bread in the early game, but where did things begin to seem to like slip away from them after they're building in so much money?
Well, the laning phase for the Team Circuit was really good. As you said, SK and Nikes had the really great farm, and Ember on the mid was not doing so good, so he went to jungle a bit and gave Nyx some levels. After that, during the mid game, seems like DC was winning because of the track gold, and it was going into their favor, but after like 18-20 minutes, after they got their 4 staffs on Nyx and on Silencer, they were just kiting the Nikes. I mean, Nikes is really strong, but after they initiate DC, they just get globaled, and let's say they were struggling to get a good initiation. Team Secret, but after Nyx and Ember got it right, it was just an easy game for them.
What do you think, Gods, about Puppy's performance on his silencer here? He opted to go in with the helm of the Dominator, so he's playing Chen as he's playing silencer.
We want to be comfortable, you know?
Yeah.
Give Puppy a neutral creep. He can't control one unit. That's too straightforward,
yeah.
He needs at least 2, 3, as many units as possible. He was good. He played a fairly greedy style support, but I think typically you want to have like a 4-position player getting some good farm, especially a hero like Silencer. It's not that roaming Earth Spirit Pudge type hero. He made sure that he got the 4-stuff at a good time. The Rod of Atos later on came into play as a nice secondary counter to the Lifestealer as well. So he did well, used the globals very effectively. The team fight really was where Secret managed to kind of pull things around after that weak mid game. They just got a couple really big globals with eclipses and tore apart DC. So really good game 1.
So let's look forward into game number 2 now, Lacoste here. What changes would you like to see leading into the start of the draft here? Was there anything maybe, we'll say from Secret that we saw that maybe DC should consider just kind of taking out of the series?
Well, I think DC this game gonna try to get the hands on Naga Siren, probably, and maybe a Rubik in the first phase.
Why would you say that now? Do you think, and it was said in the past, I even heard, I think it was Envy way back at the Frankfurt major, that sometimes teams will lean towards something like a Naga when they feel like they really need to get a win. Is that the case here, or what's so special about the Naga that you feel like it needs to come out now?
I think Naga in general has a really great win percentage, and Rezo is playing really well, and I think it's one of the strongest heroes in the late game, and so hard to counter that split push coming out of her.
Anything else you think that DC is going to be notating here moving forward as far as the draft goes, Gods?
I mean, I want to say in some ways Ember Spirit really showed his prowess, especially in the late game. When he gets level 25, he gets that Octarine, the uptime on his spells on the steering chains is just ridiculous. You can't move anywhere. You're getting constantly harassed, and there's no punish. Like, he comes at you, he uses a combo of his spells, and you can't do any damage in return. He gets a couple of Maelstrom Pox, and suddenly you're half HP, and you've done 0 damage to him.
Yeah,
so
in the late game, it was really funny. You're like perma-rooted, and there's like Luna bouncing from the buildings to other heroes, and you're just standing in the place.
It's funny, right? Funny if you're
Funny
if you're a Secret fan. If you're a DC fan, that was not funny at all. Lacoste, not funny at all. Any known notorious like DC strats that they might kind of pull out from time to time? Like I will admit, I wasn't able to tune into all of ESL Genting in their immaculate run, but anything notable from DC that we can reflect back from a tournament like that they might be able to bring into Dota Pit to kind of flex it against Secret a bit?
I think the Naga Siren he mentioned was often a go-to for resolution. I really like Moon playing heroes like Legion Commander, heroes that can be a bit more bullies in your face, maybe have a bit more carry potential. And Invoker this game was a hero that we has obviously one of his best heroes, but they picked it very early, which was maybe a bit of a problem for them. It gave a lot of time for the hero to be kind of countered. The Silencer pick came into play because they still had those supports up there up for grabs. Team Secret didn't seem to have too many issues dealing with the Invoker, at least in the late game.
Between these two teams, and maybe we can already see a bit of it from game number one, what has been like the lane matchup to like watch out for between these two? Is it the mid one versus mid lane? Is it keeping tabs on how the off laners are able to kind of match up? Like Moon had a strong start in the last game. Khezu, though, was able to really evolve into a strong mid game moving forward. What's the lane to really watch out for when you're tuning into a series like this?
Obviously a mid. I mean, Wiha is one of the strongest mid players in the game, besides, let's say, SEC, Sumail, and I don't want to forget anyone.
Miracle,
maybe.
I don't know. No one, you mentioned him. You're good. I think
Well,
you're okay.
Liquid is not here, so we're not going to mention him, but... and I don't know if matchup is off lane, one-on-one. I think it's going into favor of Moon Meander.
If we go back and how they did the draft last time, at the start right there, they obviously, and I mean they meant Secret, banned out the Meepo. Do you think we'll be seeing that again? Because then we get back into that early pickle of committing for the Luna and the Shadow Demon. Typically, we see that Shadow Demon has a lot of success when he gets to go against the Luna, kind of replicating herself and, you know, having her kill herself, if you will. But didn't seem to be too much of a problem. So is there any reason for them to change that up, or do you think we'll just see her up the same exact lead in at the start of this draft?
Well, this game, Shadow Demon didn't pull off many disruptions on Luna, as we saw, because he was getting initiated on and having that global silence behind him. It was hard for him to position. Only defensive item he had was Glimmer Cape, and that came in a bit late.
I think and then talking about like some of their bans and how they opened, you're in Secret's position. It's your first big land in a while. It's your first kind of opportunity to get your name back out there, potentially earn yourself a major invite if you win this tournament. They're banning Meepo again. It's like you're up 1-0. You did it by not giving them Meepo. Why risk giving them Meepo in game number 2? I think you just want to try play another standard game. You've beaten them once in a late game scenario, which is really impressive for Secret considering they haven't had much tournament experience with this current roster. So Secret will look to probably just play a similar kind of game too.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to ban Meepo as well in the first phase. That's what they're afraid of, I guess.
I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but we are waiting for a couple more players to trickle into the lobby before we can begin our game number 2. But let's say in a world where Secret are able to move on, and let's say they manage to take down DC here in a 2-0 to set up into the semifinals, are we looking at Secret now as possible favorites of the tournament? I mean, we just saw EG take, go 3 games against Faceless, which I would imagine that EG's not even satisfied with their own performance in that series. Does that suddenly look like that Secret is the team to beat?
I think it's always going to be OG right now. Like
OG?
Everyone always sleeps on OG. You know, it's the same with the major. Everyone went in like, oh, look how good VP are, and then when VP lost, it's like, dang, EG beat VP, they're so good, and DC's going to the other side. But it's like, guys, it's OG. These guys won 2 majors. They now won a 3rd major. They were the best team of the year in 2016. Like you can't go into a tournament nowadays and not consider OG the favorite in my mind. Like even if there's a hot team, like a VP comes in, like they're in good form. Teams like OG just draft prepared. They're consistent. They're consistently at that top level.
All right. It looks like we have 10 out of 10 lobbies, so we get ready to get to. Any other final thoughts, though, before we get into this series? Something you'd like to see, something you don't want to see again from game number 1?
I'd like to see Meepo. I think everyone would like to see Meepo. It's always fun to see him. But
I want to see a Pudge. I want to see some Misery Pudge or Puppy Pudge, whoever.
I'd like to see Weehound co-op, actually.
Yeah. The mid matchup is where things can be kind of fun. I've seen a lot of Ember. I'm happy maybe if we don't get an Ember game, but if it's not banned, it's very likely to be in that first pick. But
well, I feel like this tournament, the top picks, Ember and
Luna, kind of. Less Luna, at least. Yeah, Earth Spirit has been one of the most successful.
Anything you're surprised we haven't seen so far? I'll start by just throwing out a casual name. Mirana, yet to show herself in this tournament. Yeah. I don't think she was hit way too hard in this patch. I feel like she still offers a lot in the same hero profile of some of these other heroes. Maybe not as amazing as like an Earth Spirit, but can kind of roam around the early game, make that impact if you want to put her on the support. But we also know her to, of course, be in that core position in the mid lane. But kind of just getting passed aside on right now.
Bit slow pace maybe as a mid laner, needs like too much farm, but as support, I think the hero is fine. Works as a full position. I think Io is perhaps been a bit underpicked. I think Io is still very strong.
Io wasn't picked even once, I think.
I picked once by EG, yeah.
EG.
They played it.
No, Virtus Pro also played one game too. We got 2 games. So,
I just feel Io is like amazing. I feel like that's one of the top tier heroes right now, and it's just not enough teams are willing to
what
play
I want to see, Io versus plus Necrophos.
Necrophos, that's a...
You've been talking about Necrophos this whole tournament so far.
Even both of them combined, so I can see some...
That would be lovely. All right, we actually look like we were about to start up the game, but we will have to reload, unfortunately, back into this one.
Yeah. So any final thoughts, number 2?
Final thoughts, number 2. Well, we got to acknowledge the fact that we have teams like Faceless waiting in the wings here. I really don't want to think that far ahead to be like, oh, which team would have a better shot against Faceless or anything like that. I mean, it's scary because you get down to the best of ones and really anyone can kind of take that. Yeah. Neither of these teams want to get down and be in a position like that.
And you won't be as confident against Faceless now that you saw what they did against EG, where they took a game, almost took the best of 3.
Yeah.
It's no longer the Faceless around like the Boston Major, where it's like, oh, this Faceless team aren't really looking all that competitive. They seem to have like refound themselves with this new patch. So new Faceless is tough right now.
And I want to say that even Secret have some experience kind of butting heads with Faceless too. Back during that Asus ROG run, I'm sure they had some time to sit with them and scrim a bit. And yeah, well, look at this, gentlemen. We have a draft. Let's go ahead and get into it right now. It's game number 2 of Digital Chaos versus Team Secret. Let's get into it. Leading off right away, our very first ban, DC say, you know what? We're good without the Ember. So they'll take it out.
That's good. That's nice. I like it.
Ember's still having a pretty dang good tournament run so far, but Slaughter's going to go.
DC's
Now
turn to
Wisp,
ban.
Underlord, Shadow Demon Luna. Oh no.
Secret's turn to ban.
Rubik. Did we even see a Slaughter game at all?
Not today.
Yeah, there was at least one yesterday.
Yeah, well, I mean, IG for sure were definitely flexing their Slaughter muscle plenty. But for all the other teams, they want to play it, but they don't seem to be getting the wins with it. So they're like, we'll just ban it. So that trend will be continuing here. And now we see a position where Secret are like, what are we going to ban to let through here? They banned the Meepo, means prime picks like the Shadow Demon, like the Luna, and like the Underlord are still out there. Shadow Demon will be the pick here for DC once again.
I'm fine with the Shadow Demon. It's very flexible. It prevents the SD Luna being on the same team if you don't pick either of the two. It can aggro tri lane, it's defensive, it's very flexible.
I'm not going to say they must pick Luna now, but they will have to.
But they must.
They must.
That's what they did last game, so they're perfectly happy to do so. MP had a fantastic game.
Maybe even a Rubik for them, so they can steal disruption.
Team Secret's
and
turn
make
to pick.
illusion of your own Luna.
Yeah, we saw last time they went the Luna and then the Ember, confident to kind of just show their hand. I'm curious to see if they're going to be showing the mid-1 core once again, or if this time they'll be able to kind of squeeze in an early support grab.
I'd be surprised if they did. Last game, it's like they just really wanted Ember. This hero has become so strong and in mid-1's hands, played incredibly well. It's worth picking the first two, but typically you've got last pick. You want to use that last pick to pick your mid as that final pick of the draft.
But look at this. They find extra value now in that silencer. Maybe even fearing that based on its performance in the last game, DC would have considered banning it in the second phase. So Secret are like, why don't we just snag it now before they even get the chance?
No. The hero is really good when you initiate on a core, because typically you overcommit too many spells on a core hero, SD disruption, and all those initiation spells are wasted. But Silencer prevents that disruption.
Well, look who it is. It's Milady Mirana.
It's going to be a
nice
position for Mirana.
Bit of a throwback, Shadow Demon Mirana. You know, it could be the support duo that we used to know about. The peanut butter and jelly combo, if you will. Or, of course, it could still be resonating in that core position. Nonetheless, synergizes very nicely with each other, and I'm going to be excited to see what she can pull out in her debut of the tournament. Moving forward with the second phase of bans, though, DC will get rid of that Kezu Nyx assassin that we saw in the previous game, and a Slark will be taken out here by Secret.
I just love the Silencer pick again. Last game, it really grew big with Bloodlust and like 50 intelligence.
Yeah, any reason why they don't just get the Ogre again in this lineup? It seems like it'd be okay.
Yeah, it's a hero DC are unlikely to ban. They're more likely to target the core heroes as well. Unless we're sitting there like, guys, just ban Ogre. I don't want to verse an Ogre mid. But
Melia Ogre gave a hard time on Invoker versus Ember at mid game. I mean, at mid lane.
Yeah, it does seem like Secret is happy to take a similar approach, an idea from last game. They'll get Kezu some kind of initiator. The Nyx's not available, but plenty of other heroes that he can play there.
Now that they see the Silencer, does the Invoker become a little less appealing if you're DC? It seemed appealing before because they didn't see the Silencer yet. They already had the Shadow Demon. It was a fair pairing. They saw the Ember Spirit on the other side.
Definitely, it's much less likely to be the pick for Weehaw this game.
10 seconds remaining.
Could see like an OD type hero because that's a more natural like BKB buyer, someone who can use like Hurricane Pike, BKB, and you're fine. You're not too worried about versing Silencer as an OD.
Enigma banned again. Do they know something that we don't?
I think just
they know they don't want to
just
go against it.
I mean, Enigma plus Silence is pretty nice. You black hole, you global, you can't cancel the black hole.
There's Shrek again.
DC's turn
I know
to
that
pick.
from the interview, Puppy had said that him and DC obviously, or Secret and DC have not scrimmed at all.
What interview?
Never faced each other. What interview? There's an interview out there somewhere. But Ogre, they decided to go for the Ogre. Not really surprised about that.
10 seconds
Back
remaining.
the way of Digital Chaos now. Have a very open-ended draft without giving
5
too much
seconds
information
remaining.
here. So the world is their oyster.
Reserve time.
Yeah, what do they want to do? The Legion Commander stands out as one of the big heroes that Moon plays, still available. Pretty nice if you... Oh, Centaur. Okay.
Centaur and Shadow Demon too. That's a fun pubby little combo.
This is like gets level 25. Luna's gonna kill herself.
With that and
So
Shadow
we
Demon, I
switch
mean,
suggest-
that could be a bit of a headache for a Luna in the later game. Not to say that it is,
10
Centaur can
seconds
easily get to
remaining.
level 25,
Yeah,
but
this
if
is
it
just
does,
Midas for Centaur, first item, and
5 seconds
just drag the
remaining.
game.
And you see the Centaur, it's good synergy with the SD Mirana. Possible aggro tri-lane if they can get Rezo a
Reserve
decent
time.
1v1 matchup. But right now they don't know just yet what that Kezu hero is going to be. They may find out now with the fourth pick coming up though.
Kezu classic heroes now. Pondering back to even Days of Escape.
A lot of Void back then. He played
Lots
some
of
of
Void
those
back
big
then.
team fight Void Tides, but don't know if they want necessarily another big team fight ultimate with a long cooldown. They've already got Global and Lunar Eclipse. Rather see like maybe a Batrider type hero,
Yeah,
something with a
Batrider,
cleaner
Clockwork,
initiation.
something.
Yeah. Like just a clean single target initiator. They don't want to have to like walk in with a Tide or whatever it may be. But
Yeah, I like the Batrider idea. We haven't seen much of it yet this event. It is against a Shadow Demon, but some people would be very on the fence if even Shadow Demon counts as a good counter to a Batrider or not.
well,
but
Bat Silencer is ridiculously good because you blink last one, you
That's
just
true.
immediately global silence, and there's you can't stampede, you can't disrupt. There's very little counterplays to make against Bat Silencer.
Very true.
But they're thinking it through and see what they have in mind.
Well, and maybe for DC Scary, I can see a Juggernaut, maybe Manta to remove the global silence, and Rezo loves to play it.
Axe.
It's going to be an Axe.
Initiation.
DC's
Good
turn
option.
to pick.
Good against any illusion hero, since you may be thinking, okay, DC's going to pick some agi carry to make SD illusions of still.
Anyway, this could kind of change up the laning phase here for Secret at all. Do you think this is going to be
10
something they keep
seconds remaining.
traditional and just kind of keep them in the off lane? Will they pair it with something? Do they want to go aggro
5
now that they have this kind of
seconds
in their
Well, they can
hand?
go with their first 3 heroes. They can go off lane. Well, off lane is a new safe lane.
Reserve time.
I think they can go with that.
I mean, obviously it might be revealed or more ideal once we see DC's core pickup to see if it's someone they can easily shut down or not, but they now have that kind of option in hand with an Axe on their side. Back the way of digital chaos now.
Well, they can still switch Mirana to be a
Yeah.
mid hero, but I don't think they will do it.
Yeah, I am pretty curious.
They won't know the mid one hero until the very end of the draft, though. So it's one of those things where they can't like decide based on that, and they're going to get his queen now.
Of
Team
Pain
Secrets
comes out
turn
right
to
now.
ban.
All right.
Okay.
Momentum, high momentum kind of a hero, of course.
He heard my wish.
Yeah. Well, had a long game just now, and Queen is one of those heroes that benefits a lot from these level
10
25
seconds
talents.
remaining.
New spell, Lifesteal, with the Octarine Blade Mail build.
Octarine
5
Blade Mail
seconds
build.
remaining.
Blade Mail somehow counters a global silence if you're going to get focused as well, but I think it's a BKB game
Reserve
here.
time.
A lot of magic damage coming out.
Does that not feel awkward at all, or are you feeling confident if you're picking a Queen of Pain into a Silencer? I mean, I would imagine you don't ideally want to have to build into a
DC's
BKB, but
turn
this
to
looks,
ban.
you know, like a game you're going to have to.
Well, he can skip the BKB, but it's going to depend how the game goes. If he's going to be having a lot of farm, he can just skip it.
I think importantly, like we saw last game here, that's not going to get kited.
10
The Centaur
seconds
Stampede, the Queen
remaining.
of Pain mobility, they're not going to have issues getting to the Luna
5
and
seconds
dealing with full
remaining.
staffs and keeping up with the high mobility from the Bloodlust.
Final set of
Reserve
bans
time.
right here. It looks like Secret are going to get rid of that Resolution Lifestealer. And we go back the way of Digital Chaos right now, where we anticipate the mid-one hero here to come out. We've known mid-one to obviously play a variety of heroes here. Flashy ones including Invoker, let's say.
The arrow is wrong. It's DC who picked first before.
Oh,
Yeah,
foul.
yeah, Valve.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
DC, though.
So DC looking for the Rezo hero before the mid one hero. Lifesteal is one of those, it's nice to pick the Lifesteal because you can just give him the 1v1 matchup against Axe. Maybe he doesn't dominate or anything, but it does give your supports flexibility to roam. It's one of the more sustainable heroes, but with it banned, maybe the Jug that Lacoste mentioned becomes more appealing. Morphling still in the pool is something he played quite a lot of. Seems they're just ignoring the Naga though. They don't.
Yeah, we saw ignoring of that. I was surprised also early in this draft, like, or for these two teams at least, they don't seem to really care about the Drow Ranger either.
Yeah, no one.
I think Naga is really good against like the team fight lineup of Silence's Luna because you just split push. You don't fight into the global, and you never get a good chance to really use global silence against the Naga strat. So
Yeah, she can just, later on, she can
10
just manta
seconds
out
remaining.
and use the ulti and just cancel the fight.
So a ban on the
DC's
DK
turn to
here.
pick.
It's going to be a Jugger or Naga, probably.
yeah, I like the Naga. Maybe they're banning Naga, but banning DK because they want to play Naga, and not worried about being pushed too fast. But they haven't got too long to decide what this last pick is going to be. Terrorblade.
Kind of in the same realm
Team
as a
Secrets
Naga.
turn to pick.
Yeah.
We saw good success with it yesterday in the hands of OG and in No Tail in particular.
A bit less split pushy, a bit more group up with your team and five
Yeah.
man.
So far, Secret doesn't have much of an anti-push.
10 seconds
I
remaining.
mean, Luna will help a little bit here, but if you really wanted to kind of take it to
5
Terrorblade, you might
seconds
need a little
remaining.
bit of extra, you know.
Well, mid-hero.
Do you see like a
Something
puck,
special.
puck versus co-op? That's fine. Like the
Reserve
classic
time.
matchup.
Ah, the Fistful of Tango's
Puck is not a
Classic.
bad idea.
OD. Oh, they're very good against the illusions.
Yep. Oh, yeah, exactly. All right. OD going to show himself as the final pickup here for Secret. Gentlemen, our draft is set before us now. I need your predictions.
I'm liking Secret's draft a lot again. The Bloodlust on the Luna, as well as the OD, even the Silencer benefits a lot from it. They've got a good initiator in the Axe. I don't think they have too many problems dealing with the illusions thanks to the OD pick.
Yeah, I'll go with Secret as well.
I feel good about Secret's draft.
All right, that would mean if Secret are able to take this down, they will advance into those semifinals, slated to go against Evil Geniuses later, or we'll see if Digital Chaos can hold their own and take it to a Game 3 best of 3. But with that said, let's go ahead and throw things over to our sidelines right now where we have our two casters. It's going to be OD Pixel and Merlini.
10 seconds.
Thank you very much,
remaining.
Dakota. Indeed, game 2 coming around now for DC versus
5
Secret.
seconds
Ben, we've
remaining.
just seen the drafts. What did you think about this for DC ending up with the Terror Blade? I mean, you yourself said a little bit doubtful. They're picking it into the Axe, and as you'd say, you consider Axe a pretty good answer to TB in lane.
Usually you see Axe picked as a counter to TB. It is one of the few heroes left that do synergize well with a Shadow Demon, as we saw from OG's excellent play yesterday. Especially when the Luna is not involved. So I guess they just want a hero that can push towers, that is very heavy agility plays. Maybe something like Morphling I think would have been a little bit better for them, but it seems like Terrorblade will be Resolution's hero of choice.
The final pick as well, worth noting, mid one getting through the OD. Understandable, I guess, in the draft that we did in DC, ban out the Ember Spirit. First ban. Mid one getting the OD. Good alternative, you feel, for mid one, and another one of his strong heroes, strong hero player combinations he's got?
Definitely. I think he's exceptionally good on OD and Ember, both of them. I'm actually surprised that they banned out the DK. I don't see them play DK too often. I guess middle ones usually more on the flashier heroes, not the ones that hit on towers as much.
Moon, this game on the Centaur, Ben. I mean, last time we saw him on the Sand King, he did his best, really, with a lot of very nice burrow strikes and the kite potential of kind of getting himself in and out of the fight. So I guess one of the pluses of him playing the Centaur is the fact that he can not only just weave himself in and out, but he can also save his teammates from quite a lot of what Secret's going to be throwing at them in the fights.
I wonder if he's going to try and itemize against the Silencer. We saw him trying to do it a little bit last game with the Lotus Orb, but right now, they don't really have any counterplay to Global Silence. Global Silence is king in the team fights.
For sure, indeed. We'll see the lanes start to take formation. It is indeed, again, going to be both sides just sticking to their safe lanes. Misery and Pi kind of just heading around, keep having eyes upon each other. Pi will be, at the moment, standing behind Kezu on this top lane. Again, the same way that Secret started out in game 1. Saxa and Misery are in the neighborhood, though, to protect Resolution for these early stages of laning and make sure that he gets the start that he needs. Bottom lane, Moon having to put up with the same combination that he was dealing with in game 1. Is it going to be easier or harder, do you feel, for him on a Centaur? Are you having a better time, or would he have had an easier time in game 1 on the Sand King against these two?
I really do like the Centaur versus the Luna.
Yeah.
You're just so tanky. Like, normally, you just, every time you see Eclipse, you just run away. But Centaur is one of those heroes you just run in. When you see an Eclipse, you just tank it with Hood, and your teammates kind of just follow suit. So if they can get to that point where they're tanky enough with the Centaur and the other cores, then I actually think they can counterplay the Global Silence by just being exceptionally tanky and not having to worry about dying. But as you mentioned, it does depend on the laning phase, which I think may be a little bit easier with the Centaur. Puppy also, last game, he didn't take any Glaze of Wisdom. I think at level 7 he went 4-0-2-1. This game, still going with that same sort of build. It is going to be very difficult to harass due to the Centaur return, though.
I'm doing their best, though.
He picks up Glaives this game. Wants to make it a positive trade versus the return.
Mid lane, mid one. Let's go for a bit of a setup onto Wii, but that's the point in the blink, so we are not going to feel too much under fire. And we'll head across and get that early use of the shrine done. Looks like Misery is going to be able to join in a little bit of the regen. Yeah, he will be able to just catch the tail end of it, get himself back up to full. As we can see at the moment in this mid lane matchup, mid 1 8 for 3, we have 5 for 2, so the edge is going to OD at the moment. Misery came across, but a quick ignite from Pi to send him back over to his half of the map. Moon, level 2, nearly reached on to level 3. Kezu, actually already headed over to the jungle, Ben. He's leaving the top lanes. Understandable, do you feel, against these two?
I'm not sure.
Or would you like to see him try and put a bit more pressure onto TB?
I'd like to see a little bit more pressure, but I think he'll get way more levels out of it. But I think leaving Rezel alone on a Terrorblade just means he's going to push his tower with Metamorphosis. Like, last game, Lifestealer not that great at hitting towers. Pilot, I have a lot of trouble. Nice
very, very nice little deny there from mid one. Able to play around that poison of the Shadow Strike from Weeha. And Weeha himself taking a fair few punches in return. Has got the salve ready to go. Still, mid one certainly keeping control the lane, tries to blink dodge the right click off, but it isn't going to get it in time, so the salve will be cancelled.
That was pretty greedy play by Wee.
I'll just go for that kind of stutter step blink.
Well,
the initial
just
jumping,
salving in the middle of the lane. I mean, OD's kind of low range. Maybe he didn't expect him to walk up the hill, but Midwin's very aggressive on this hero. They know where Misery is, so he can kind of predict where the arrow's going to come from, and he's salved up, so he's actually A-okay.
Doesn't get the hero, just gets the creep. Misery attempting to throw these arrows on the mid lane. Saxa, he's going to head over there as well. Maybe see if they can get a better chance of a setup. Kuyar can slow him down with the dagger.
Dude, WCS is really hurting. He just got his bottle, so he's not going to be able to really bottle right before the 4-minute, which is very problematic. Mid one does have a ward on the top. Let's see, which rune is it going to be? There's a lot of heroes on this bottom lane. Shadow Team is smoked up.
And he's going to get the setup onto mid one. Mid one, he's in a lot of trouble here. The arrow will connect. Puppey comes across, but I think he'll realize he's got to leave mid one for dead. And DC will find themselves the first blood there. The classic combination of the SD Mirana showing its potential.
They didn't really expect him to move down to the south side, or he didn't expect the support to move down to the south side. That's a really nice move by Misery and Saxa, catching out the OD, knowing that, okay, he's not going to go top. He's going to, like, Mirana's constantly been in that area. He doesn't want to get arrowed near the rune, but I also really like that Moon was there, too, to ensure that kill.
Look at this. They want to try and set it off for even more. They did have this ward here, Secret Zone. Yeah, they would have seen this coming across, and indeed, MP just hugging the tree line down bottom, making sure that this SD Mirana won't be able to find the setup onto him on this bottom lane, but of course does slow down his farm, and back up. Oh, Pylai is heading his way over towards the bottom. There's a bit of time where MP just has to play very safely. There's more backup coming in now. There's Puppey, turns up to the lane, they get the tri-lane together. It's all spotted out from DC now, so that they know exactly what they're dealing with on this bottom lane.
And they got that D ward. Pilot, they just dropped the sentry ward, so now DC are kind of playing blind at that side of the map. They were forced to retreat from that area. Mirana, you know, it's one of those heroes that you're okay just kind of sitting there. He was able to arrow a large satyr, so MP's not farming, but Mirana's still getting farm while they're both kind of waiting each other out.
Kazu has got the Vanguard queued up first this game. Do you like that still on the axe, just getting the Vanguard first in these sort of situations before a Blink Dagger rush?
I think he's their main source of initiation. There are a lot of damage instances from the Terror Blade, so I think that's where the Vanguard comes in really useful. And I don't really like going Vanguard after the Blink, so if he is going to go a Vanguard, I think he should definitely get it first.
Misery did come around from the back there, starting to play around with Secret. The pressure being put on by Resolution with the Metamorphosis. Saxa to help out as well. They get half of the damage done to the tier 1.
They're having chicken issues, though. The Aquila hasn't come out yet for Resolution. Centaur had his Tranquils really delayed on the bottom lane. I'm not exactly sure why this chicken has been under so much use, but it looks like Secret might be able to mount up a defense.
Let's see if they can get any sort of jump in. Saxa stepping forward. Kazu is going to be able to get anything done. Soul catches on him. He needs to be a little bit careful of a potential burst, but Misery is out of mana. So not a lot that he can offer to this. DC do manage to find themselves the tower. Resolution getting the last touch as well, so more gold into the bank of the Terror Blade. 51 CS against MP's 42. And the tower as well. Resolution with the early game lead.
And Centaur's going for that hood build that we see very commonly on Centaur versus Luna. This is becoming an increasingly more and more common matchup. Misery trying to poke around on the side, just being very elusive with his positioning, trying to arrow someone.
Now we are playing very aggressive as well in the mid lane. Has that Sonic Wave good to go. Regen rune as well, so would certainly love to give it a bit of a pop if he sees the opening to do so. Saxa getting a bit of vision down, but immediate pings out. They do know that he headed over there, dropped the ward, because they're ward themselves Secret. And Moon get a bit of CS down in this bottom lane. Still 7.5 minutes in, only the one death so far. I mean, is this... Moon. Have to be very careful. They're being brought down to 100 HP. Maybe looking for a bit of a bait action. As Saxo Misery in the neighborhood. Moon will shrine up.
Really hard during nighttime. I don't think Luna is able to get the jump unless he like right-clicks the tower. Saxo's in position waiting for MP to right-click the tower, but he's salved up. he also spent all his gold, so even if he dies right now, not the worst thing in the world, and Radiant are very wary to DC's moves. There's a scan, it's going to miss, and they're not exactly sure where these two are, but they know that they're hunting someone.
We was kind of toying around with the idea of blowing the Sonic Wave onto the Ogre. I've had a fair bit of mana now. The treads are out. So Weeha's starting to come into a bit of a better shape in this mid lane. It's taken over the CS of mid 1.
Secret's vision is just a lot better. Like, they have that ward that's blocking Rezo's camp. They just dewarded the one near the top rune. They dewarded the one on the bottom lane. Like, DC, they don't exactly know where to move with the Shadow Demon and the Rana because they just don't have any vision. They don't know where the supports are. And Silencer's closing in on that level 6 mark, and their time to actually make good use of this early roaming is going to be cut short.
And they will group up for support. Resolution looking to move into position and do what he does best at this stage of the game in the Metamorphosis. They obviously already took down the tier 1 top. 9 minutes in. Looking to take down a second tier 1, get some more money into the bank of the team. Kezu, abusing the fact that this lane is open for the taking, pretty much has the gold done for that Vanguard completion, and he himself will look to put some pressure on with the help of MP, turning up to the top to push down a tower. Mid lane, Pylai die, eyes onto Misery. It's just himself, so all we can offer is a few punches. Weeha is invised up at the moment as well. Has enough mana to blow out the combo.
He has a raindrop on the Ogre and a ton of armor, so I don't really think they want to go for him at the moment. Wee looking for perhaps an easier target, trying to scout for middle. And middle one's very low, but doesn't look like Wee is going to be able to go in instead. Pylai die.
Yeah, they've got the appearance to stack, so Misery even connects the arrow as well to make the kill now a little bit easier. DC. They pick up the Ogre Magi. Vanguard was complete though, and so was the tower taken down, and immediately Secret smoking up from the top lane, looking to wrap around, and it could be a goal. Misery's incredibly low, leaps out. The curse, will it quite finish him off? It looks like it should here. I don't think there's any way of saving Misery, and indeed there isn't. Misery taken down by the curse of Puppet.
I think he got the curse off right before he leaped. So.
Yeah, so reset.
Yep. 10-second duration on that.
Again, these curses holding back Weeha. Secret themselves quickly moving into another tier 1 push after taking that tier 1 top. Arrow will fly through. Is it going to connect? The needle is threaded. DC, can they do anything to slow this down? There'll be the disruption play, but no sort of a chance. They tried to go for the deny on the tower. Didn't quite make it. Mid 1 gets the final touch. Another tier 1 is gone down. A lot of attention towards the mid lane. Elsewhere, Moon trying to use the space that's been given down on the bottom, and up top, Resolution continuing his farm game. 10.5 minutes in. On the net worth, we can see with the space that Resolution's had in the safe lane, he is at the top, 5.5k net worth. Of course, those 2 towers helping as well, they was able to take down. So it's been a very good start for this Terrorblade man. But the same could be said, of course, for both the mid laners. And the question is, when we start to see Secret move around the map and try and shut down the TB, is that something that they're going to be focusing on now, or are there other objectives that take a priority?
I think they can wait. I don't think there's any need to rush it. They can just like get Terrorblade, get pretty farmed. As long as Global plus Blink Call is effective, they don't really feel any rush. And like Silencer is just such a good counter to Shadow Demon. He just has to sit there for 4 seconds while he watches his teammates die, and that's kind of the worst feeling that you get as a support. And it looks like they are going for a gank onto MP. Pylai is there to break the smoke. What a team player.
Well, they will mess up the screen, but they won't mess up the disruption into arrow combination. They'll get the kill, but as you said,
that's a happy death.
Yeah, he's tanking it. MP's walking off with full health.
And he spent his gold, bought a Tome of Knowledge before he passed away. Silencer, level 6 now. Looks like he is going for the headdress into Helmet Dominator yet again.
It certainly worked out last game. We saw some really nice creep controller Puppy there.
Yeah, the thing about the Helmet Dominator is you're always going to find a useful creep for any situation. If nothing else, then move speed is going to be good. The Alpha Wolf not as much use this game as in other games, but Frost Armor generally very useful too. The Purge creep's also very useful, so I think there's a creep for every situation, and as a support you can kind of adapt to what you need. And I also think the regen aura is very, very useful. They have a lot of sustain with the Essence Aura, combine that with the headdress, perhaps a mech later from someone else. I actually don't think anyone's getting a mech this game, but it's still very nice to be able to continuously siege.
is under attack.
I just sort of worry though for Secret, the fact that DC are hitting this really nice pace, 12 minutes in, moving across the map, taking the tier 2 bottom, taking another tier 1 mid at pretty incredible speed. You know, Resolution's big. They are going to try and jump it though. Kezu immediately in, looking towards the center, holds back on the dunk, doesn't even need it at the end of the day. The swing of the axe takes him down mid one, looking to set up for another one as MP comes across as well. Zaxa to fall, double kill for mid one. They may have lost the tab, but they instantly find 2 kills. Can they get anything more? With this haste strewn, mid one, he's chasing down. He has found Weeha. Blink still on cooldown for 5 seconds. He should be okay though. The rest of the team not quite in the neighborhood. Weeha just looking to go for the outplays with the Jukes into the creep camp. Out he goes. Weeha will escape. But big kills there for mid one. Starting to bump him up, but this tower gold, Ben, is keeping Resolution very much ahead this game.
I think it's okay because they have the counters for him, and I also think that Queen of Pain's not able to get any kills. She's 1-0-1, which is all right, but you know you much prefer to be the OD in this sort of situation where everyone's just farming up. You know, the fights are just very long pauses in between each of the fights because Dire side has to wait for the metamorphosis every time they push. So like you're comfortable with this farming pace because OD I think is much more strong in the mid to late game, and OD has a lot more farming than the Queen.
Pilot I got out of position there. Moon, Misery, taking him down with a quick 1-2-3. And the jungle a Secret. 14 minutes in, definitely worth considering to look at the speed that Kezu's been able to pick up the farm as well. You know, he got the Vanguard, but quickly 14 minutes in, Blink Dagger now complete as well on top of it. So now, as you mentioned kind of earlier, you know, if he can get that initiation onto the TV, especially into a situation where Sax is being focused by the rest of Team Secret and there's not going to be any sort of chance for a disruption to hold him back, he can do a hell of a lot of damage. Pylite Eye. He's going to be eyed up here. Saxa isn't going to go for the setup. Rezo's the only one really in the neighborhood. No Misery this time around as Misery's just picking up some farm on the space given to him on the bottom lane. 1,300 gold in the bank. A quick scan from the Radiant side just to check Resolution's position as he does back up. Only Pi and MP there up towards the top half at the moment, and very much happy with MP just continuing to farm. As we can see on the net worth, fairly close individually. Overall, it's just a 1k lead for DC. A lot of that down to the amount of gold that Resolution has amounted to at this stage.
Not only do they have the axe for pure damage against the Terrorblade, I think it's also countered by the OD. OD makes quick work of the illusions and has a ton of pure damage and a ton of magic burst to pierce through that Terrorblade's high armor, and just you need burst to be able to kill him before he sunders. So I am very worried for this Terrorblade's life going much later into the game, especially with OD picking up this much farm. But Rezo is very, very far ahead. I think they need to secure him at Aegis at some point, but now's not really the time. But it is time to start kind of thinking about it. How are you going to approach it? If you can like smoking towards the top side of the map, or perhaps smoke into Roshan. And there is a smoke from the Radiant side trying to show off the new Blink, but it's just going to be Saxa. I guess it might be worth it if they get in, but this is similar to a Pylite Eye death where you're okay with it.
Well, they'll certainly get it with the initiation from Kezu. They take down the Shadow Demon. Do still have a creep alive, so they could look to try and pressure down this tier 2, laying down the sentry as well, just in case any sort of moonlight wraparound comes in for DC.
But Queen is beating on the T3 with a double damage. That's a lot of damage that I don't really think Secret are going to be necessarily happy with in this fight. The arrow from Misery, he was actually looking to kill the wolf there. It's a pretty smart play from him.
They will lose the tier 2. Immediate TP's now coming back, looking for Weeha. Links it away, plays it safe. But as you say, gets a bit of damage done. But still, it is Secret finding the objectives. Blink Dagger's now done for Moon. So DC may be a little bit more ready to try and turn up to those pushes and try and turn them around if Moon can get a good Blink who stop initiations. Just something that's going to be able to set up Weeha for a big Sonic Wave, and that's exactly what they're going to do now. Smoking up through their own jungle, they want to make something big happen with this Blink reveal, and they may just be able to mid one try for the TP. Actually, he cancelled the TP, slides down. I don't know if he's going to be able to get himself out there. The global will come through from Puppey. They're trying to save him. It doesn't look like it's going to be enough though. DC surround him. They will get away with the OD kill. It's a big kill for DC. They'll certainly be happy with that, but it was nice to see that. Just that quick reactions there because of the warding. They did see the smoke dispel on the outskirts, and mid one tried his best to play his way out. It wasn't quite enough though.
Yeah, that's a much better kill for DC with their smoke as opposed to Secret smoke. And Metamorphosis is up. 20 seconds.
Time to
dead
push.
On the OD. Yep, time to push.
Each and every time, just perfect timing for this Terra play lineup. 17.5 minutes in. It's tier 2, and then there's only going to be one more to go on the top. Puppey is being ignored here at the moment as Reze just wants to get the damage done to the tower. Roshan is up. I mean, could either of the sides be looking towards Roshan anytime soon, or is it just a little too risky still at this stage early on?
It's definitely risky because the shrines are still up. And
Yeah.
Blink Axe Call or Blink Centaur Hoof Stomp is almost certain death for either team in that area. They need to do it under the element of surprise or with strength and numbers. It wouldn't be that bad of a time for DC to go because of Global being down, but now meta is also expiring very, very shortly, so Rezo's time to shine will have to wait another minute and a half. So both teams just kind of playing it patiently. Secret not willing to fight without the global silence, and DC not willing to fight around the metamorphosis. Both teams just kind of trading towers back and forth. Still, I do favor the team fight over Secret just because there is just straight no counter to global into a blink call initiation from them, and that will allow a lot of time for OD to be able to steal a lot of intel. One downside about Secret's lineup is they don't actually have enough AoE to clear the Terrorblade illusions or the Shadow Demon illusions. Axe is like okay at that, but you don't really want to blink call on illusions to start out a fight. But at the same time, you don't want those illusions out of the fight because they do a ton of damage because Terrorblade hits like a truck. And on top of that, you want those illusions down so that Luna can make great use of her Eclipse. She is level 12 right now, so that Eclipse could reign king in the next team fight.
Mid one looking to lead the way up top with the smoke. He's caught out Misery. Kezi should be there with a blink. Cool follow-up if necessary. And that doesn't look like it is. Mid one slides forward. Misery tries for the TP out. It's not going to disjoint the right clicks here as he's taken down. At the same time, though, DC, they find the bigger kills. They caught MP out on his own. They take out the Ogre. So at the end of the day, that smoke from Secret ends up hurting them more than it does for them as they lose MP because he didn't have any sort of backup. And now DC's got the space to go into the Roshan pit then.
That was a really smart play by DC there, identifying that Secret, yeah, they smoked, but just to kill on Mirana. OD almost had that kill by himself.
Yeah.
As soon as they saw those heroes, they're like, okay, well, let's see what we can do. Luna's not with them. And she's just farming Ancients, as is pretty normal for a Luna. Alpha Wolf tanks the Soul Catcher. There is no one inside to stop this Roshan, however, and that will be a free Aegis going the way of Resolution.
Yeah, Resolution just getting bigger and bigger this game. 12,000 net worth, that Aegis in his pocket as well. It just feels like the tempo is perfect for DC so far this game. 20 minutes in, they're exactly where they wanted to be.
Yeah, the Secret aren't able to connect on any of their combos. Like they're just finding all the wrong targets with their smokings. It's just, you know, Shadow Demon up on top, you know, Misery up on top again with the smokings. They need to be going for these big old cores, especially before they get their HP items. Wee looks like he's going for a Scepter next. Eels to perhaps deal with the Global Silence as well as deal with the Axe. Eels is one of the best items versus an Axe. When he blink calls, Blade Mails, you just waste his entire initiation if you can Eels him up in the air. Well, Moon Meander is set in position to deal with MP, and there is no one around for DC.
They're going to TP Misery back. They have a TP across to the mid tier 2 and to this one as well. And in fact, with the Hoostomp into the arrow, they are being able to catch him out, bring him down low, and they found MP again. DC, the fantastic way to start the fight, and they're not done yet. They're looking towards Kezu. They'll back themselves off, make sure that the spinning axes don't catch them out as they take down a second, and the rest of Secret just have to tuck their tails and run. Once again, DC just finding superior team fights. It just feels like the opposite of what we saw in Game 1, really, where each and every time Secret were forcing the fights, DC didn't know what to do. This time around, it's Secret trying to force the fights, but DC turning. And at this stage, with the lead that they've got, it's too much for Secret to withstand.
DC is doing a very good job of identifying like where Secret's moving around the map. Like OD wasn't there. You normally say that with a defensive Astral and then turn to fight around with Global Silence, but because they didn't have the defensive Astral, the Luna just perished, and the rest of the team just forced to run away. And that's the second time they've split up like that. The OD and the Luna not really working together to cover each other in the team fight. If they go on the OD in the team fight, you just Eclipse and just run in. That's not really that big a deal. But you know, I think they're just not on the same page here. Maybe not sure how they want to tackle this overfarmed Terrorblade, who is currently killing the Shrine, and Shrine's dead.
And one shrine down. I'm sure they'll have their eyes on the second one. Just getting more and more control across the map. More and more money into the pockets. Resolution making a beeline immediately for this area. He'll spot out Pi. Pick up a few creeps on the way around, and Secret just keeping themselves up on the high ground. 5-9, 23 minutes in. It certainly feels as well. It does hurt Puppey. We saw in game 1 a lot of fighting, a lot of killing, and he had a lot of intel stolen. But so far, 23 minutes in, only 4 intel stolen. It's not the dream situation for the Silencer.
They want Kezu to be able to get more kills. Like, he's an axe. Like, you don't really want to just purely farm as an axe. You just deal so much damage with your counter helix in the early game. But like right now, he hasn't really been able to chop anyone's head off, just sitting at 0 kills. Normally an axe around this point in time, maybe at 3, 4, 5, 6 kills. But they're just playing on their side of the map and always scared to make the move. They don't have a Nyx test in this game to get the information for them.
I mean, just look at Resolution's nearly got a Skadi complete as well. I mean, it's just insane how much he's found in this early stage of the game before the 24-minute mark. And it really feels like it's getting to the point where, you know, we mentioned at the start how Axe does have answers to TB, but when the Terrorblade has Manta, Dragonlance, and Skadi, pure damage, it starts to fall off then.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Definitely so.
Dire's structures are
I don't even think those two have like matched up at all aside from the lane.
Radiant structures.
I mean, there's T3s being attacked for crying out loud, and just nothing's happening. Finally, they go in.
Yeah, Kezu will get the jump in, starts to drag Resolution back. They'll pop the Global Silence. Can they get a kill under it? That's the question, though. They will be able to take down Misery with the right clicks of mid one.
And that's without Luna. Luna is killing the T2, and DC have to retreat right now. They're both TPing on the Shrine. MP could be in a lot of trouble unless he TPs out very quickly. Actually, there is a
There's a
Yules.
Yules. He will try and turn with the Eclipse, and in fact, forcing Wii to Yules himself out. Saxa comes forward. They're playing around it. Can they kill him in time? Yes, they can. The Soul Catcher, Sonic Wave, and the Shadow Strike is enough.
That DD certainly helped too. Nice play from Wii there. MP almost faded him in.
Invisibility.
They did manage to get their tower, though, and they did hold on to the defense here, Secret, on the top lane.
Only about 20 seconds left on the Aegis. I don't think Rezo can really do that too much out of it, with it, aside from just regen.
He won't mind that. Be able to get his mana back up to full. Moon. Eyes onto Kezu. Misery leaping into position. They need to try and find the angle for that arrow follow-up. And there we have it. Beautifully done. It's a lot of stun. Do they actually have the damage to bring him down? Coming in close with the Starstorm. It's bringing him low. Double edge as well is enough to finish it off. As Moon and Misery take the pick. And that's Kezu out for 45 seconds. Doesn't have buyback. But indeed, as you mentioned, DC do not have the Aegis. They still want to push, though. Coming in on the mid lane, DC ready to put pressure onto the high ground once more. Resolution taking a lot of damage. It looks like he's just feeling confident in the potential to sunder if necessary.
Might be worth sundering a teammate at this point. Saxa in particular, but it looks like he wants to save it perhaps for the next fight. It was only a level 2 sunder, so 80 seconds on that. But they still have 18 seconds without the axe. They kind of wasted an urn charge, but not too big of a deal.
Yeah, Resolution just simply sundering one of the Shadow Demon illusions of Shadow Demon himself.
Mid one's doing a fantastic job of keeping these illusions at bay.
For sure. Actually, pop the Sonic Wave and run there. DC are going to back themselves away. Of course, not afraid to put that Sonic Wave with that Aghanim Scepter. We are level 16 as well at this stage, looking to work towards BKB next. And DC, I mean, with this kind of lineup as well, do you feel that they do feel safe in backing up, just continuing to farm, or is there a threat against Team Secret's late game potential?
I think as long as they continue to get Aegis, they'll feel okay. But I think once Luna gets an Aegis and once Terrorblade is like a little bit vulnerable in the team fights, then DC might have to worry a little bit. But they're pretty comfortable as is. They've taken out so many towers, got a ton of damage on all the T3s in each of the lanes. And Secret just haven't really done anything this game aside from farm.
That certainly seems to be the case. We'll check the overall net worth, and still DC certainly with the lead, 7,500. Can be turned around though. One good team fight, and Secret could see themselves back on top. In the moment, DC certainly the ones with the firm grip on the game. Moon queuing up the Aghanim Scepter. That's going to be very nice on him as well. I'm kind of looking to see if someone can get a Lotus Orb out on the side. I guess, do you feel he might build it? Because being able to cast the Stampede during the global silence could be very nice, couldn't it, if you're DC, just to make sure the Secret can't get anything done under the cover of Puppey's ultimate.
Definitely, but that's a lot of gold. Lotus plus Eggs is 8,000
It's a long
gold.
way away.
Yeah, and the Co-op and the Terrorblade have higher farm priority than him. Even the Mirana, I would say, has higher farm priority. She does have the Eggs at this point, too, so contributing a decent amount in that burst area. But yeah, I would be looking to get a Lotus Orb maybe 40 minutes in the game if it gets that late.
Courier has been killed.
Now Weeha choosing to pop the smoke out to get the jump on the courier. Now DC in position to push in onto the mid lane. Bottom lane being cleared through by Resolution's illusions as well. See how hard they can go in onto Secret. Lane very much keeping control here. Pi will find himself a DD room. Misery just continues to try and starve Secret out over their side of the map, taking their camps away from them.
Might be time for them to go. Roche is about to respawn, and it's been, what, 8 minutes, just a little over 8 minutes, so Secret, the longer they wait, the more chance that Roshan has to respawn. I don't know if they want to give a free one to Terrorblade, because it's going to mean that they're knocking out their key threes. Again.
Mid one close to his BKB. Could be some few big item timings that we're seeing them wait upon. MP now with the BKB. Kezu does get the jump in onto Weeha. Has he quite got the damage? Tried for the dunk, but the Yule Scepter and Blink out in time will save Weeha's life.
I think the global would have been worth it there to ensure the kill on the Queen, but didn't seem like they wanted to commit that.
I guess potentially worried about the fact that I guess once the global's down, DC could very well look to push in incredibly hard. So maybe feeling that the priority is there to hold it for that scenario.
Yeah, perhaps if Queen had died due to global there, they would just wait for Queen to respawn and just walk into the Roche pit without really any fear of the team fight. Yeah. So perhaps a smarter choice by Puppey to hold it. And they will smoke. It is around that time where Roshan is going to respawn, one of the most important times for Secret in this entire game. Who are they going to be able to find, if anyone? Mid one is out on his lonesome, but DC have known that he has done that for the majority of the game. So I would say these heroes in mids still don't feel safe despite getting vision on mid one.
I'm not going to start it off as of yet, just hanging around seeing if any members of DC do come through. Mid one actually going to TP himself back to base. Secret kind of toying around with the side, not really looking to fully go in. DC are in the neighborhood.
There's the BKB on the Terrorblade as well, so can tank the Eclipse or avoid it altogether.
And avoiding certainly seems to be what both teams are doing. Secret not wanting to come too close to the pit. DC know that there's no one in there. And looks like Secret will just return to trying to push back these lanes that DC have pressure for it. Resolution, the illusion spam on the top lane. Getting that pushed in. Weeha working towards the Orchid, which he pretty much has got complete. We have it just picked up now. Nice answer as well to just have that potential to build up into the Bloodthorn once we see the inevitable butterfly come out in the later stage on MP, and already MP has got it queued up.
There's a lot of physical mitigation on the side of Secret. They have the Shivas and they have the Ice Armor creep, just ice armoring up everyone. That Frost Armor is really, really good against the Terrorblade in this situation. And both teams kind of just waiting around, seeing what's going to happen around the Roche pit. Both sides just fearful of that big teamfight ultimate. Maybe not even close to sure of how Centaur's Ags is coming along too. If they can like stampede like from the backside of the pit, that would just be absolutely disastrous for Secret, and they are definitely wary of that potential prospect.
A lot of pings on this mid lane. Both teams kind of at a stalemate, neither wanting to jump forward, as they know that the counter will be there, vice versa. Just eyeing each other up. Secret starting to push DC back a little bit more so. MP will head up to the high ground, getting eyes onto Moon. Moon immediately blinks out. Kezu tries for the blink initiation. A little bit late with the call there. Doesn't catch out Saxa. Now, have to be careful, Secret. TP coming through from Wii. Will silence up Kezu. Arrow isn't going to connect. Weehard jumping forward. Puppy's there with the force, trying to get Kezu out of harm's way. Global comes in just in time. There's no who stop to lock down Kezu, but Resolution pops the BKB. Has the reflection, goes towards Kezu. The Sonic Wave flies through from Wii. They're taken down one. Look at the damage onto MP. Resolution just rips the Luna to pieces. DC, they're found two. Misery with an arrow to the back of Puppy. Looks to close in, pick up a third. DC crushing Secret very convincingly there in that fight and just performing beautifully around the global silence, and we're just seeing the power of Resolution with that BKB and Skadi. Very little the Secret can do about it.
They really had to get that jump on the Shadow Demon. I don't exactly know what happened to his call. He got orchided later on in the fight, but he was not able to connect with the call on the Shadow Demon, and Shadow Demon and the rest of DC just kind of came in and destroyed the Axe. They controlled him with Orchid into a Shadow Strike, so he couldn't blink at all. They were forced to use Global to try and save him because he was the gem carrier. And with that, DC in a very firm position to take control of this
Roshan
game.
has fallen to the dam.
Yeah, Resolution just going up and up in this world. Overall net worth now coming to 15,000. It's getting to a considerable lead now for DC. Resolution queuing up the butterfly as MKB is not going to be on anyone's kind of shopping list anytime soon on the side of Secret. So with that evasion, he's going to be pretty much unkillable in these team fights. It's going to be very hard for Secret to deal with. And MP still, he's just not in the place that he was in game one. He's 50,000. He's about 5.5k behind this Terrorblade. Still mid one. On the OD, on top of the Shiva's Blink and BKB of his own, is looking towards the Hex. So it really does feel like Secret, they need more time, but at the same time as the game goes on, DC, they've just been farming and using the resources across the map here in game two that little bit better.
And Rezo we trust. DC's Mana going into the late game. Actually, I mean, Wee's pretty farmed too.
Oh, mid one, jumping in here, pops the BKB, trying to man up against Resolution. They would just turn and run back up to the high ground. So that's going to be mid-one's BKB on cooldown. DC, they'll want to abuse this for sure. They still have the Aegis, of course, on Resolution yet to be popped. TP's now coming back from Secret. DC just will continue to stand strong and push in onto this bottom lane. Misery has got the ward out. Immediately will be dewarded by Secret. Resolution falling down low. Moon gets a good strong jumping onto mid-one with the Sonic Wave that starts, so he's immediately bursted. That's mid-one out for 70 seconds. Asunder from Resolution keeps him alive, turns towards Kezu, tried to jump in on the backlines, but the damage from Rezo is just too damn much. Too dead on Secret. Puppy trying to get himself away, but Resolution gets the connection. Hasn't got quite enough damage to bring him down through the Shrine's regen. So Secret are two members down. They did find the Shadow Demon. MP Pie and Puppy left to try and do their best to hold DC off this push, and it looks like they're just about doing it here. They're keeping DC off the rest, but then until Moon comes in again, and then Weehar with the follow-up, blows up another, so MP is out. Will buy back immediately, they have fortifications. Secret still trying their best to hold. The melee racks still stand, they'll clean out the illusions. Finally though, the illusions do it. The melee racks will fall. DC, they're not done yet, they're sticking around. They want to try and find more out of this by the looks of it. They'll finally back off now that the Metamorphosis has come back off Resolution. They get the job done. They get a fair bit of Secret's blood shed as well. 3 kills, forcing out the buyback on Luna. And again, only losing Saxa for that trade.
That just looked too easy.
Regeneration.
Resolution just casually pops BKB, Sunders the Ogre, full HP. There's like 6 illusions. They have no way to clear them because Axe is already dead in the fight. And X is just a sad, sad Axe this game. His net worth is very, very low. Like, he's 7th, but I mean, he's way far behind number 6. I just don't think that they were active enough this game. I think you want to fight like every single global cooldown. And yeah, you might be fighting in a Metamorphosis, but if you can stop one of those pushes, you're in a really good spot. I'd gladly trade Global Silence for Metamorphosis. In the early game before the Terrorblade gets too big, but they just waited so darn long that DC is just monstrous. Like, look at the Terrorblade's net worth.
Absolutely ridiculous. Resolution 5-0-7 this game. Still has a bit of time left with that Aegis, so yeah, still a couple of minutes or so that DC can use to to try and get some more objectives complete with it. Mid lane racks could be the next opening that they want to go for. Secret still have a lot of things to be answered for in terms of being able to bring together a defense to deal with the power that they've allowed DC to get to. Resolution immediately in onto the tower. Doesn't have the creeps in at the moment, so won't be able to do too much about this. But outside the base, Kezu's been caught out by Moon and Misery. He's out for the count. 50 seconds on the sidelines for Kezu.
Moon's been playing like a beast this game. Like the multiple setup kills on the Luna and the way he's been able to keep up his farm is just incredible. He's like pretty close to the Luna in net worth.
Moon leading onto Pi. Again, the arrow combos there. They've taken down a second. DC finding a strong, confident opening to move in onto the mid racks. Sundown to mid one, keeping him low. DC clean up the melee racks in the mid lane. Jump forward from Moon, just again finding these openings. Sonic Wave into the ears of Puppey. He'll buy back immediately, but the full set of racks is down in the middle. DC get what they came for, and they may even look for more. Already just moving across to the top lane. The Aegis now expiring. They're still standing strong. DC Resolution will just pop the BKB and back away. They're not going to play too greedily. They want to play it safe. Butterfly is now out for Resolution as well. 38 minutes in. The farm does just not stop for this Terrorblade.
It does not stop at all. And I mean, like if they want to go later, they still have to deal with Queen of Pain level 25 with Octarine Blade Mail.
Yeah, he's
so like it's not going to get any easier for them. It might seem like they have really strong late game with the Luna and the OD, but I mean their base is in shambles. They've lost 2 melee, 1 range already, and very likely to concede Roshan after, unless they do something very, very quickly. I think a lot of their smokes just didn't connect. I don't even know if they have smokes anymore.
30,000 net worth lead as well for DC. Absolutely huge. I love the build the Moon's going for as well. Straight off the axe, he's looking towards picking up the refresher ban. I mean, double stampede. Good luck if your Secret kind of outliving the damage this TB is going to be able to get done in the fight, just chasing down your hero to the ends of the map.
Yeah, just too much damage mitigation too. OD ult gets destroyed by that.
Misery really getting punished there. Defensive disruption from Saxa will keep him alive as well as the Greaves. He'll be okay. They'll try to start and TP out, but MP's going to be left behind here. The rest will escape, but that's MP out for 80 seconds. They may have got the tier 2, but it may not be worth it. Weehar does get caught out, though, on the top. He tried to get away with a bit of a cheeky push on his own, nearly being able to solo the melee racks. But Secret react in time.
Wee knows when to push as a mid laner, too. I think DC as a whole. Like, we see Mood Meander, like, right-click towers a lot with Sand King. Like, Wee's just playing the Queen of Pain like a split push. I think it's one of their best strengths.
And they get the call here onto Resolution, but they got the damage, and it does not look like they have at all, Rezo. 5 seconds until that Metamorphosis is available again, and then at that point you do not want to be sticking around if you're a member of Secret. Pi starting to head back with the Yules onto mid one, no sort of follow through, but the illusions just bringing Pi down incredibly low. He will manage to survive. Arrow won't connect, but the next push could be painful. DC have that Metamorphosis good to go. They may be without a Queen of Pain, but they know that Secret don't have the Luna for 20 seconds. Mid one actually going in. He has the Shivas and the BKBs. Turns to start to steal the end on Moon. Will drop the Sanities, but Resolution staying alive, and this damage from the Terrorblade is too much. Kezu will try and initiate. There'll be a buyback from OD. Resolution standing strong, takes down the axe. Puppey sent up into the air. Resolution just moves across to him. Mid one coming through. Can he do the damage to bring him out? There'll be an Astral to hold back the TB, but it's a dieback from the OD. Pyla dies out yet again. MP with the BKB. The Eclipse, can he finish off Moon's Saxon? Resolution on his own, that's the question. They're pouring down low. Can the Luna do it? Is he that strong? It looks like it is. He's taken out 2, but Weehar, he shuts them up for good. Jumps in with the Sonic Wave. GG is called, and DC take game 2.
With the cleanup crew right there. I mean, he set this whole game up, though, I think. Trying to break apart Secret's 5-man, knowing that they are at their full strength with the Luna there and with a silence silencer there at the back, but he split them up with a split push constantly, just beating on their T3. It's like, okay, you guys can take our T1s and T2s, but you can't ever push our high ground. And Reza was just monstrous stacking.
Absolutely. Resolution 8-1-13, 360 CS. Very, very impressive from the TB. But as you mentioned, what was definitely enabled by his team, by Weeha, his mobility, his plays, 12-1-6 on the Queen of Pain, constantly finding openings to just put the pressure onto Secret. And, you know, they tried to run this MP Luna thing again. We saw at the end, you know, the Luna is still scary, but it just didn't happen quick enough. Secret struggling to find at the pace that they got in game one with a sort of similar draft, you know, 3 of the same sort of heroes. Kezu's Axe, as you said, you felt didn't do quite as much as you felt it could have.
I think the draft was actually pretty decent from Secret. I think it was an even draft, but they didn't play it to their full potential. I think if they played it again, it would have been a much closer game.
Well, there we have it. Just as we would have hoped, Game 3 will be coming up. 1-for-1 between these two sides. Secret and DC both showing their strength so far in the series. Game 3 is going to be immense. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, here at Dota Pit Season 5 G2A.com LAN. We'll be back for Game 3 between Secret and Digital Chaos.
Gaming Bets, online betting for every esports fan. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and Overwatch, StarCraft 2, the choice is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2? Make a prediction for picks and bans.
Playing CSGO? Guess the number of rounds in a certain match.
Daily quests for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.
Hi everyone and welcome back to G2A.com Dota Pit Season 5 LAN here in Split, Croatia. We just rounded out game number 2 of our second series today between Digital Chaos and Team Secret, the grudge match, I'll call it. We're back at the panel right now. We got Lacoste and Gods back on my side. Welcome back, gentlemen. Another highly contested game, but this one felt pretty clear-cut for Digital Chaos. Let's start back from the beginning and in the laning phase, Lacoste. What did you think about that?
Well, in the laning phase, I think everything was fine. Like the off lanes were getting similar amount of farm. Queen of Pain had some advantage on mid. There weren't much kills. They got the first blood with classic disruption into arrow.
Yeah, the way the things were leading in early was a first blood by DC led them to using the first metamorphosis, getting the tier 1 tower down at the top. Momentum began to go their way. But at that point, Gods, it seemed like it was Secret who were kind of in tune with DC's movements. They had some good ward placement early and were able to kind of avoid a lot of confrontation.
They managed to do very well until the central blink came up. It felt like the central blink was a little bit slower than some of the Axis item timings, and that's where DC really just upped the ante. They started playing a lot faster, they started finding a lot more kills, and they were really good about making sure the kills turned into towers. That's the beauty of Terrorblade, is generally you're making plays around his Metamorphosis. Unlike a Luna where you make a play around an Eclipse, but you don't push all that fast. With Metamorphosis, it's like, you can, if they don't come to you for a fight, doesn't matter, because Metamorphosis will take the tower.
Well, we're moving on from there. About 20 minutes into the game, we found that DC were starting to take better trades, getting a couple of pickoffs, had a nice smoke to move out and take out that the Luna pickoff of MP by the Ancient Camp +1, allowed them to get the Roche, and that's when we started to see DC kind of begin to take over. And again, this Terrorblade, man, no one's able to stop him. He's at the top of the net worth from what feels like from start to finish. And at that point, you're looking to Secret, and it's like, how are they going to be able to bounce back?
Well, DC seemed to be getting more important kills. They're like trading the kills for mid and safe lane for just an off laner. At that time, Terrorblade just does what Terrorblade does. I mean, he free farms in the lane, he just kills the tier 1 tower, tip his bottom when his metamorphosis is on, just kills the tier 2 tower, kills the tier 1 tower bottom, continues, kills the tier 2 tower bottom, just after that, he's 3-4K after in front of everyone in net worth, and he didn't even die once this game.
Did you think there anything that maybe Secret could have done to hold things up there in the back end, Gods? I mean, you look at their lineup, it's not the most extravagant high ground defense kind of a lineup, but they tried their best to hold it out.
The Luna was always in the front, getting caught out a bit. Maybe a couple of the pushes they went for was like Luna in the front lines, then getting kind of initiated on, bursted down. They tried to protect the Luna using the global silence, but it just didn't really quite work well enough.
Yeah, when they were pushing that tier 2 tower bottom with Luna, they were just... I had a feeling that Luna has Aegis. Instead of that, Terrorblade had Aegis. It was just... they thought they could protect her with global silence. He just got stomped with Centaur and just instantly died. If you look at the item progression, X had really great farm at 12-minute mark. He had Tranquil Boots, he had Blink Dagger and
a Vanguard.
Yeah, but he didn't find those initiations.
Yeah, it turned into kind of a low kill count game there for the most part, and then you saw people like Puppy who were not really able to kind of get that intel stack going like we saw in game number 1, so they ended up feeling a bit falling flat a little bit, so it's very unfortunate there. But any closing thoughts about game number 2 before we begin to evaluate moving forward into game 3?
I think Secret still had a pretty good draft. Maybe they over-prioritized the silencer a bit too much early on. The hero just felt like a little bit, like you say, didn't get the... If you're not getting the intel, you're not really snowballing, then the hero in a slower paced game when you're the back foot doesn't offer you much, because Global Silence's defensive tool is no way near as powerful as used defensively with an initiation.
All right, so we're getting ready for game 3 now. Looking forward to the draft at that point, is there any reason for them to change things up at the early part of this draft? I'm forecasting Secret to continue to keep the Meepo out of play. DC probably going to be leading with the same. What would you like to see him change up?
Well, I think they're going to stick to what we see. They're going to try something similar. Going to ban the Meepo again. I don't think they want to play against it. I don't think anyone wants to play against it, actually.
No. In pubs and pro, just keep Meepo out of our games now. Once upon a time, you see Meepo, everyone cheers now. Well, I think us casters and viewers still like seeing Meepo, but the players themselves, maybe not so much.
Well, who do you have to really rally behind then, though, if you're Secret right now in this kind of a case? Well, if you want to like kind of put maybe more effort in, you know, because we saw in game one, they were confident enough they kind of had to get the Luna in that case, but they were feeling confident about getting the Ember right away for mid-1. Game 2, they held off mid-1's pick a little bit further. Not to say he didn't have a great showing in this game, as OD definitely kind of held his own for a while, but do you go back to kind of putting favor and getting mid-1 something secure and safe right at the start?
I have to say something about that Luna pick. It felt like a trap. They got Shadow Demon, trapped them to pick the Luna, and as I said before the game, the Luna is they didn't have any anti-push, so at that 20-25 minute mark where Terrorblade just kills all the towers, tier 2 towers, and just kills the shrine, just close you in your own base, and you don't have anything to get out. So.
Yeah. And the TB just outranges Luna so bad. Like the Luna can never get up to the Terrorblade to right-click him, or even to get an Eclipse off. So it's a very tough matchup until much later on, and you're very reliant on your team.
So based on the game 2 showing, I mean, they didn't feel too deterred after game 1, but game 2 with the Shadow Demon now, and plus when you can pull in something later like the Terrorblade, do you consider creeping it in like a Shadow Demon Meepo first couple of bans?
Yeah, leave Slaughter in the pool, but we're kind of reaching that point where maybe you just say, look, they've played Shadow Demon twice in a row as a first pick, let's ban it and give away the Slaughter instead.
I think if they picked Legion Commander instead of Axe, the second game, it could have been a bit different, killing all those illusions pretty much instantly with overwhelming odds.
I want to go ahead and remind you guys of the schedule coming up as we are waiting for more of the players to continue to trickle in here. After this series, we are going to go right into the lower bracket, which is going to be just a best of 1, featuring, of course, Team Faceless from our earlier series versus the loser of this next upcoming game. And then after that, we're going to go right back into the upper bracket. It's going to be a best of 3 semifinal matchup where it'll be Evil Geniuses, our victors in the earlier game, going toe-to-toe with the winner of this next upcoming game. We have EG waiting in the wings. I mean, what do you think for EG if they're watching the series right now? What are they looking to take in? They may be expecting that, you know, this team might be someone we're facing, but what are you taking away from this if you're just your coach kind of noting it down?
Probably watching Secret more closely because their team has just been off the radar. So if you want to watch someone, their movement, their picks, it's Secret. You're seeing, okay, they like the Silencer. They really prioritize. They're happy to pick up their cores early on. They really prioritize the Ember. As good as Ember's been, some like 10 wins in 12 games, not every team is saying they have to first pick him. Some teams are third, fourth picking him. Some teams are ignoring him, but Secret very obviously happy to first to pick him. So I think EG will be watching Secret maybe a bit more than DC because they know DC. They've versed them. They've been playing more. They played at ESL. There's a lot more footage on DC.
Yeah, I would keep my eyes on Secret as well. Since Secret didn't play since November, there's no official games of them.
Yeah. But I think going in Game 3, it's still, I'd give DC the slight edge. I think they're the favorites. They're the more established team at this point. They had the ESL win. They've been on a really hot streak lately, so seems like Secret going to have to come up with something draft-wise to surprise DC maybe.
I have a feeling when DC loses a game, they just organize really quickly. They just adapt to what enemy team is doing. Just they need just one game, and then they're back on.
And then they like identify like a key hero that they maybe want to draft into. I feel like that Terrorblade wasn't like oh, we're up to our last pick. What's left? Let's get Terrorblade. I feel like that's something they maybe had on their mind very early in the draft.
I think they saw opportunity, and they took it.
Yep.
Let's go hypothetical here. Lacoste, you are now coach of Team Secret. Yeah, big deal. And you're in the locker room right now getting set up and about to send your players off and into the booth playing once again. What are your words of encouragement to Secret at that point?
Fight me.
Fight you? That was a low-hanging fruit right there, Lacoste. I'm sorry. Really, though, come on. What would you say to him? I mean, you know, is it put that game behind you, get that Shadow Demon out of the game?
Yeah, it's 1-1 at the moment. You just need, it's like best of 1 at the moment. So
Wonderful.
Like you're in the loser bracket. So.
We actually have a draft starting up, but just so it's not all on him, if you were DC's coach right now, Gods, and you were just sending him out, you got to feel pretty good. You just got that Game 2 win, but how can you tell him to take it home, all 3?
I'd be like, you guys are good, fire Blitz, this guy's a chump, and just, I don't know, go beat Secret.
You too. All right. We have a draft up right now,
The
folks.
weather's nice over here, Dakota, you know?
Let's go ahead and get into it right now. It's DC versus Secret. Game 3, this decides it. One team going to be moving on into the semifinals to face EG later today. The next team going to be going down to face Team Faceless in that best of one in our next upcoming series. Let's get into it, guys, and we'll have our answers here before us. It's going to be Secret, it looks like, with the first ban. Unless that indicator is wrong.
They're gonna ban Meepo, second ban. They did it first 2 games.
Was the game
So
remade?
far.
They're going into the bonus time, so maybe the game was actually remade. Not sure.
Classic.
Sometimes if you get the first pick option.
Or
wrong.
not, I mean...
You don't normally use your reserve time on your first ban, but they do.
But they do. But that's a secret thing,
I
gods.
think
Mind games. They didn't want that
Secret
60
is
seconds.
aiming for that Shadow Demon, I think, because they banned Luna.
It took DC no time, though, to quickly go into and get rid of that Ember.
Yeah.
They knew what they wanted. Or
Yeah,
they knew what
so-
they don't want.
So they
Yeah.
want to. You think they want to first pick Shadow Demon? They'll ban Meepo, who I assume.
Yeah, Meepo now and just pick Shadow Demon if it's in the pool.
That's a hero pilot I've played a lot, and Team Secret in the past have always really liked to go for. So, they ban it, leaving Meepo. All right, that's the game 3 strat.
goodness.
Let's go.
Or do they play Meepo?
Who plays Meepo on this team?
You know, it would be mid one, I
Mid one,
imagine,
does he
but
play it?
he doesn't really play it.
I
from
mean,
what I've seen.
Puppy's a pretty damn good micro player, but I haven't seen him play much Meepo. I
Jungle
mean,
Meepo.
we don't know where Secret's been for 2 months, man. Maybe they've been,
Yeah.
secretly grinding away some Meepo games.
This guy's
you know?
from SEA. Everyone plays Meepo there, so.
That's true. Got some private bed coaching lessons or something. We'll see. But final ban from DC was the Wisp. So you got Underlord still out there, but it seems like both these teams don't really care about that hero.
They may just save their second pick for like a Winter Wyvern. If they see DC first to the Meepo, they can second pick Winter Wyvern. If they don't first to it, then they ban it in the second stage. So this first pick may just be like something well-rounded. And yeah, Slider picked up. And they have that second pick Winter Wyvern option if Meepo is taken.
We'll
Do you
see
think
now.
they will go for it?
Game 3 decider, yeah, I think they will. I think the hero is very strong. Wii is fantastic on it.
Is a Wyvern enough, though? I mean, some people say that if you're just kind of throwing out your ult in hopes that it's just enough to take out the Meepo, that you're losing a lot of the purpose of the Wyvern and,
If you shut down Meepo early, like kill him once, twice in the mid lane, at between minute 5, I'd say, and minute 10, he gets so much XP, so it's like a really, really good thing to do. But
DC just doing something totally different, though. I mean, Legion against the Slider is always nice to be able to purge off the amp.
and stun.
Very different look from DC.
we did see S4 share of LC play yesterday. Pretty damn good there.
Moon was one of the players on the old OG that used to play Legion more than anyone, I feel. Like, when I think Legion, like, who's a Legion commander player, Moon is the first person that comes to mind for me.
Oh, definitely. All
Again,
right.
with the silencer pick, they really love it. It might be kind of late when you initiate with Legion Commander, throwing the silence out there.
Yeah, it's funny that they continue to go for the silencer because I see Legion Commander now, and it's like, would this have been one of those times when the Puppy Dazzle could have come out? You have minus armor, synergy with the Slardar, you have a way to save someone caught inside the duel with LC.
I think they want to be more the aggressors. Like, that's the idea with the silence. You're never picking this hero to react to a duel, you're picking it to be the ones initiating the fight. And that's where they feel like they've got the Slardar, they can pair it with an aggressive mid or a carry, they can start a fight, global silence, win that fight.
Yeah,
with the Dazzle, like if you're starting the fight, the Dazzle doesn't offer much aggressive potential. He's the one who bails you out.
Yeah, he's the static one. We saw in the first game when they were initiating with the silencer pick. I mean, with Ember Spirit and Nyx Assassin, the fights went into their favor. The second game, they didn't have any kind of initiation, so silencer didn't get any int, no fights. Like, it was a static game, 4-4 at minute 10. Silencer didn't work out. It's good when you have a hero like a Slardar, so you can just have a free initiation on them. Stun, ulti, focus, global silence.
Second phase of bans here coming out. DC rid of the Lifestealer. We had known and seen in the past that it's a wonderful pairing with the Slardar in hand, but will be denied this go around.
I imagine at least one of the cores of Secret will be something pretty heavy in terms of physical damage, whether it's like the TASF type mids or safe lane jug type hero. Definitely where I'd be looking for them to go with their draft.
Is this the third ban of Slark?
We're seeing a lot of second stage Slark bans.
Were they all bans from Secret side too? Banning
I think so.
DC Slark? Yeah, it was a resolution grab for a while there, but, you know, could we see them just go back into something like Terrorblade once again, or is DC feeling like one of those things like, we don't want to run the same thing twice?
They want to wait. They probably, until they see the cause of Secret, it's hard to go right into the Terrorblade. There's some heroes that really hard counter it. Tinker, one of the better ones. It's hard to play Terrorblade against like Invoker as well, so... I think until they see like maybe, like it's really good when you've seen the Luna, because you know Luna, oh, this short range hero, yeah, it's great. But
if they're gonna pick it, they're gonna be their last pick probably.
Yeah.
No point in picking it now.
DC obviously going to be denying what could have been a three-peat right there in the Ogre Magi.
The Meepo's still in the pool though. Will it be banned?
I mean, there's not a lot out there to deter the pick, really, so. But also no real reason, I guess, to jump into it at this point.
Judging by the bans, Nikes, Ogre, I don't think they're going for a Meepo.
And that's what I was thinking too, but then like maybe it's the mind game, you know? Just ban stuff where it doesn't look like you're going Meepo, so it's still in the pool, and then you just
in the end,
forfeit
it's
it.
like mind blown.
Yep. It's the long con.
That's Misery, though, and he showed a lot of traits of that back at TI, too. He had some crafty drafting plays, even against Wings there up into the finals.
Yep.
But man, Secret just
taking their
going
time.
all through the reserve time at the start of the draft and here now. But Puppy really, I don't know if it's a mind game or a head scratcher here, but he's definitely thinking long and hard about this.
Especially for I mean, this is a more harder to think about ban than perhaps that first ban, but we'll see what he wants to go for. Earth Spirit's the other hero still in the pool, which I feel has had a lot of success, something DC could easily run for Misery. I look towards him playing like a Earth Spirit, Pudge type roaming support. Ooh.
Looks like Shadow Fiend will get the X, and we go right back the way of DC here. And they're going to go with the greatest hero in the game. The best hero in the game.
Is this cute Naga Siren? Is this a Naga game now?
Oh, yeah. You know what? That does seem feasible. Even Terrorblade, I guess, can work okay with a Coddle, too, if you need to get him around the map. Opens up those options of split pushing for him when normally they were not. But that does make me feel like Naga's a bit more potent here. What are you smirking about? You don't agree that Coddle's the greatest hero in the game?
Tell me the story behind the Coddle.
Well, many ages ago, he has genocided all of Night Stalker's people. What kind of story do you want me to tell? I'll be honest with you, though. I wasn't really excited about the talents when they announced them. They're kind of neat. Casting ranges, of course, is always amazing to have, especially when you're really potent with the Mana Leak. And then the Illuminate, I guess, level 25
Casting range,
boost.
you can cast from 2 meters behind.
Yeah, it's okay. But, I mean, now we see the reason why it was picked, though. And there's the Naga. It comes out now. DC looking to kind of really just take this one home.
I mean, Paul Coddle, like this guy's like, man, I get to finally be picked, but
no,
he's only getting to be picked because
he's an
Naga.
Uber. That's really all he becomes now. He's an Uber driver, and he'll be there for Naga. So.
Not strong enough to be picked on his own merits. Man, Secret have to think fast. They have so little time to pick heroes here. They get the Timbersaw, some good wave clear, being able to push out lanes against Naga Siren very important. Their first 3 heroes have 0 D-push. That's a big issue for me as far as the start of their draft goes, and that's something that both their last 2 picks I feel are going to need to have.
Yeah, it's funny because we know Secret to play a lot of like the Lion, back in the day. Pilot Eye Lion at the Shanghai Major was like kind of a staple at that point. Could have helped a bit with the Illusion Gaming, but obviously they couldn't see ahead of time what was coming unless you did really read into that Coddle pick. But Timber will help a bit on the wave clearing department, but they're going to, as you mentioned, need a bit more.
They have a lot of minus armor for clearing everything up, but
They have minus armor, but who right-clicks?
That's going to be the last hero.
But the kind of right-click heroes like you normally think of aren't necessarily great against Naga, like your Jugs, your Terrorblades. Maybe you can go like a Terrorblade and just try to take down a lot of towers and play a fast-paced game, but does feel like they lack any physical damage. They don't have any good building hitters.
I'm going to reach here. Sniper, get the, and then, I don't know, I'm thinking like a physical DPS who can opt for like a Mjolnir or something.
For Secret. Yeah.
Jug.
Well, I guess it depends what lane Timber. Timber could go safe lane and you do the sniper mid. That works all right. That's no problem. No reason why they couldn't do that.
There is flexibility in Secret's lineup. I've seen Kazu play the Timber Saw plenty of times. I believe I've seen them do the 4-position Slardar if necessary.
Yeah, but it's not going to be a 4-position Slardar since they have Silencer and Dazzle.
You mean core Silencer is not an option here?
Mjolnir Silencer.
We'll see here. Final ban to come out here from DC. Reading into this, anticipating the core pickup.
Morphling ban, yeah.
The morph. All right.
They need some. They need to go late game and contest the Naga with some big carry like a Morphling, or they need to be able to fight early. But there isn't really any great early fighting pushing carries left. The Terrorblade's like okay.
They can't finish the game if you take whatever hero you take. You can't finish the game before Naga gets Radiance.
So
against Coral and the Legion Commander, and with these heroes you don't have any push.
So you think they just
Silencers,
get like
they don't hit towers or
get a late game carry basically? You think?
Yes.
Not a hero I like to watch too often, but I haven't seen too much of this person in 7.0 plus. Alchemist?
No. Number in the mid is taken for Timbersaw, and
I think the Timber most likely is mid
him
too.
being safe lane is just meh.
I'm looking to pull out some new ideas here, you know? Get
No.
the brain thinking a bit. So obviously that's what Secret
I
has
see
to do
only
here.
Juggernauts
It's just
here.
seconds left. They're going to go for PA. Okay. You're asking for physical DPS?
It combos well with Slider, but it does not push towers. It fights early. This is like the early game. Let's win the lanes. Let's win the early game approach. But scaling into the late game is not going to be something Secret necessarily do all too well.
All right, DC with only 10 seconds remain here. Their final grab with their Naga LC lineup. Rounding things out with the mid lane grab for Wii. Potentially it's going to be the Ursa. One to be able to go toe-to-toe with the PA.
Nice kind of counter pick for the Timbersaw in the lane as well. Pretty hard to match. Timbersaw does really well against almost all heroes mid with the reactive armor, but Ursa, one of the few counters there is. And one of Weeha's most played heroes in pub games. He loves the Ursa.
All right, guys, based on the draft, is it going to be DC moving on to face EG, or will it be Secret?
Judging by the draft, I think Digital Chaos got this like really easy.
Yeah,
because
I think their draft's way
if the
better.
game goes in the late game, they have a better late game. In the laning phase, I think they're stronger as well. You have bottom PA, Silencer, and Dazzle against LC. LC is going to get a lot of levels. And just having Naga Sirens, once she gets that Manta style, she can just remove the global silence, cancel the fight.
Are you on the same boat there, Gods?
Yeah, I mean, I saw the first 4 picks for both teams, and I was like, I don't quite see what Secret's going to do. I don't feel like the last pick PA solved too many of their problems, and DC with the Ursa, I think, is a great pick to create some space for Naga Siren.
All right.
Silencer and Dazzle don't have any mobility at all, and they don't synergize well together. So.
Looks like we have a game underway, so let's go ahead and not waste much time. We'll throw it over to our on-site casters right now. It's Odie, Pixel, and Merlini.
Thank you very much, Dakota. Indeed, Game 3 between DC and Secret, and have we got some exciting heroes as well. The final finisher for DC being Weeha's Ursa, and over on Secret, Ben, we're seeing MP pick up the PA. This is a hero that pro players just aren't touching.
Risky, for sure. I think it doesn't match up well versus the Naga Siren in the later game, but in the early mid, very, very strong, especially with the amplified damage. I think you can really just one-shot, two-shot maybe these low armor heroes like the Keeper of the Light. I think the Phantom Assassin is pretty good here. They also don't have a good way to deal with the evasion. I do think the Keeper or the Phantom Assassin will struggle versus things like Blinding Light and Enraged versus the Ursa, but I think it's kind of the fast pace that they need, although I am a little bit worried about their pace considering how slowly they played last game.
Absolutely. It's always going to be a bit of a worry for Secret going up against DC's signature combination, the Keeper of the Light Naga Siren combo that we saw back at the last time, back at ESL. If DC wanted to get their hands on it, they had to get it as the first 2 picks. This time around in the draft, they were able to pick it up a little later on, maybe because of the case that potentially Secret feel that they have the answer to kind of Resolution's Naga? I mean, we saw them obviously struggle Game 2 with Resolution's farm on a Terrorblade. How are we going to see things pan out differently? You know, how are Secret going to deal with Resolution's farm this game?
Get PA involved early, I think. Just fight a lot more than last game. I think if they play it slow like last game, keep the Naga will get big. They don't really have any good solutions to Naga side. Like Timbersaw is okay, but PA and Slardar just terrible at dealing with it. So I think they need to start hitting around, you know, maybe Phantom Assassin's level 6, I would say.
Well, Dire's Courier already being taken down here. So Secret off to a nice little start. They're getting a bit of a cash bonus. Mid lane as well, we're seeing just the aggression from MP and Pylai doing their best to kite we away from the creep wave.
I think it's really important that they dodge the Timbersaw matchup. Though I think the PA is much better suited in that mid lane versus the Ursa because of the blur, and especially this dual lane. This dual lane is putting on a ton of pressure onto Wii.
Absolutely, Weehar getting low. Top lane, there's a bit of a go onto Kezu, but he holds them back with a crush. Bottom lane, Moon down relatively low as well. A lot of damage being done on all three lanes at the moment. A huge amounts of harassment from both sides. Resolution doing his best to ward Kezu right back out of the lane. The same something being said down here. Mid one, falling low, has regen. A good amount as well. Salve and a couple of tangos good to go. Mid lane, Weehar trying to close in once again onto them. A good heal bomb from Pi. Could potentially turn this one around. And MP with another dagger. We could be in trouble there. The tango regen's not going to be enough. And first blood in the mid lane going to Secret for this Dazzle PA combo.
Wii is very, very aggressive as an Ursa. Didn't really respect the Shadow Wave there, and it just brought him down to critical HP.
And we usually back in, getting the pound onto MP, forcing him back. A very tasty creep wave coming in for MP as well. Weehar, he is playing incredibly aggressive. You mentioned it. I mean, it seems like a little bit of an understatement. He's diving right under the tower here. MP and Pi will just do their best to continue to kite him out, but Weehar just going fully in at the moment, trying to soak up what XP can underneath this tower. MP and Pi still doing their best to keep him away from the creep wave.
It's really bad because Wee's, I think, lower level than this duo lane. Like both of them are 3 and 3 1/4, 3 1/2, whereas Wee's sitting like 3 1/4. So this lane is going to get worse and worse, I think. Especially if they pick up Lightstone in the lane, and he's not going to have any defensive abilities until level 6. And he's 400 gold away from his bottle. He's going to have to use a shrine to carry him over in lane, but it's going to be a long time before he's going to recover from this.
Looks like he's going to have a bit of a backup coming. Misery rotating across from the bottom lane. Moon has managed to find his way up to level 3.5, and I guess with that in mind, DC feel that Moon's sort of safe to be left on his own down here on this bottom lane.
Yeah, the Keeper came down early and made sure that he got at least a couple of levels. That's kind of all you really need on the Legion Commander. Puppy is going to try and be as annoying as possible on the side lane, or on the side of the lane, but very difficult to out-harass the Legion. Very, very fast with the overwhelming odds, and just able to right-click. That's
really, chunking into Puppy here. Mid one. Ready to ward him back off, but Moon has got the heal.
Yeah, the heal also, it seems like it takes off the Whirling Death, so that's really, really strong. Gives him a lot of HP.
And Kezu continuing to try and hold his ground as offensively as he can. He's going to get caught out by a Magic Missile and an Illuminate, and one more touch from the Coil. Misery will pick up the kill. DC getting themselves a bit of action as Misery has been very kind of mobile across the map, starting out on bottom, swept through past mid, ends up on the top lane, gets themselves a kill.
Yeah, they have no idea where Misery is, and he could be just sitting in the fog waiting for a blast. And mid lane, they can't dive because Keeper could just blast the PA at the tower and they would just die. They also can't really go aggressively on the Legion Commander because of the Keeper lane, and it's just really shoring up all their lanes and making it very difficult for Secret to go for any sort of kills in these lanes. They are keeping down Wii in the mid lane. Wii is 11 CS versus 20 from the PA.
On top lane. Pies managed to get the wraparound here onto Saxa. A good crush and a heal bomb, bringing Saxa down low, and Kezu will be able to take himself a kill. Saxa getting caught out of position.
He thinks they have a ward where Dire has a ward, but instead it's a little bit more to the right. Covers the rune area. Secret seem to prefer that ward a little bit more.
So lane so far as well on this bottom lane. The CS for the two of them. Mid 1, 23 for 4. Moon 17 for 0. Fairly close mid one with a slight advantage. Considering all the action that's gone down in mid, 12-0 on Weehar, 22 and 8 on MP. MP with a favorable lead. And this top lane as well, Kezu who did definitely struggle in terms of making an impact in Game 2. He's off to a good start here in Game 3. He's level 5, he's getting good experience, 11 CS as well, and has been having to deal with Resolution plus Misery or plus Saxa, as both supports are kind of swapped around their positioning and helped out the Naga in this top lane.
And Rezo already sending his illusions off to the jungle. Could easily creep it with one of the supports, but sends 3 to the small camp to try and work up some extra gold.
Now look at this micro. Super neat. Just keeping all the illusions alive. Maximum efficiency from Resolution for sure. And already, Saxa holds back Pi with the magic missile. The 2 supports looking to chase down Saxa with the curse from Puppey as well. Won't be enough to get the kill, but it'll certainly give them a bit of a scare, forcing them to back up to the tower. Mid lane, Weeha still struggling to keep at the same pace of MPCS, 30 against the 13. MP with the lead that was given, having a great time. Bottom lane, mid one, actually able to find a solo kill. That looks like he just hit up on the 6 and was able to outplay Moon with the chakram. A little bit unexpected there.
Yeah, Timbersaw is devastating in lane versus any sort of strength. Pilot wrapping from around Wee with the heal. It's enough.
Just about. Very, very close. Moon coming in, seeing if he can find a dual potential. Has to be maybe a little careful himself with the crits flying through and Puppey's presence. Saxa is there to offer backup for Moon. Jump forward from MP. He's looking to finish off the kill. Isn't quite enough damage with the poison touch of the right clicks. It will be though from Pi. Double kill picked up on the Dazzle. Secret throwing kind of all hell at this mid lane, and MP is having a great time being put in a great position, and Weeha consistently bullied out the lane.
I think this is what attests to Puppey being such a great captain, is like his situation to his ability to put, you know, this dual lane in the mid lane. This is not something that you see very often. Dazzle PA, like let alone PA in general, but these two together against the Ursa is incredibly strong and has caused Secret to propel themselves forward into this great early game lead. Like that's just not something that you find very common. In retrospect, it makes sense. Like, oh yeah, easy. You have the physical mitigation.
Oh, look at this rotation from MP immediately coming out on top, trying to help out with the chakram, but it's not enough damage to finish off at Moon.
He doesn't even have duel yet.
Moon has to be a little careful, even with members around. Mid one's still going in incredibly aggressively. I mean, he may have gone a little bit too deep here. He's hiding around in the tree line, still has a fair bit of mana to play around with, goes across towards Moon, can't quite finish him off. Mid one getting himself out, has got 3 points in the reactive armor. Dagger will be thrown across on Wee, trying to hold him back. Mid one, man goes up, again with the chakram, holding DC back. He's going to be A-OK, plays his way around the 3 of them, and keeps himself alive.
This is really hard because they really only have physical damage in this lane. A lot will add up from her Fury swipes, but Ursa's not really able to man up on him because he just does so much damage. They will get a lot of value from that shrine, however.
Top lane looks like Secret want to put some pressure onto DC. Moon's going to TP across. Kezu eyeing them up with an Amplify. Moon starts to move forward on the side as well. Puppey he's going to find Resolution, and will actually be able to take the bounty rune before Rezo picks it up. So Puppey gets the bounty rune and he's on his way out. Still no points in net, of course. Now, Resolution looks like he's got the superior speed. We'll have another Riptide in a second. Misery's mana leak. They should be able to get it. No, Kezu's presence turns up, holds back the illusions, and with a grave, Puppey's going to be fine. Gets himself back to safety, and again, Secret just evading any attempt from DC to get a kill.
They're able to slow the Naga down too. Naga's like forced to fight a little bit, use her illusions to chase down heroes, perhaps scout a little bit, and just not able to AFK farm as much as you want to as a Naga Siren this early into the game.
And Pete just going to quickly juke around Weeha in this mid lane, especially needed to do so with Saxa in the neighborhood as well. Has got that 1 point in the evasion, but still cannot underestimate the damage output that this Ursa can offer if he gets the lockdown onto you. As Wee continues to try and climb his way back up the CS board, get that farm, but still just the overall lead very much for Secret. That mid one, the kind of safe lane and such. He on this Timbersaw has been causing issues down on the bottom, now onto the top. Misery and Moon have to be careful about Kezu and mid one's combination plays. Mid lane, MP moving in once again onto Weeha, bringing him down low, forcing him to back right out of lane, taking crits like that. Weeha can't do a huge amount to sustain against this pressure, has the salve. Has to be very careful, especially with Pilot Eye in the neighborhood as well. Bottom lane, Resolution and Saxa tried to move forward to make a play onto Puppey, but they themselves have to be careful. Min one's turned up, tries to cover the trees with the chakram, isn't going to find Saxa. Rezo simply using the song to make sure that those two can get back to safety and get away from the grips of Secret.
That's a really long cooldown, though. 3 minutes at level 1, and that just, I think, is going to invite Secret to play even more aggressively with the Timbersaw and the PA, even more so than they have already been doing. That Shrine's still down on bottom for a couple minutes. Mid tower's under heavy fire from this duo in the mid lane.
Kezu, progress to the Blink Dagger, just over halfway there.
They have to find some way to get this Ursa back in the game. Like, he's going for really small items, too. He actually picked up an Aquila on the Ursa. That's very unusual. Usually you'll see Phase Boost or Morbid Mask around this time, so you can either chase people down with the movement speed from Phase Boost.
He's in so much trouble. MP's got a DD rune. No chance at all there for the Legion
might be in
commander.
trouble, too.
He has got to hope that they didn't see him. He's hiding there behind the tower. But more TPs will come through for DC. I've got to be careful with MP walking around with still a good amount of duration left on the DD.
Oh, that Sentry Ward doesn't catch the Radiant Observer.
And just outside, so MP will have the vision, but of course, at the same time, DC will know exactly what's up. Mitsuru just having to hide in the tree line. Will reveal himself with this Illuminate. And the question is if Secret want to come looking for him, and they may want to.
And look at Pilot in the mid lane. He's just able to right-click on the tower as a Dazzle because he knows that nothing's really going to stop him. Yeah. This is really bad when...
And they hunt for misery. You know, he reveals his position with the Illuminate spam from the tree line. And Secret just know that they've got more than enough damage to just dive towers and take kills incredibly quickly. 7-1 now, Secret with the lead. We'll switch over to the networks to see how this is kind of reflected. And indeed, MP at the top of the board, level with Resolution at the moment, but then Mid1 and Kezu just in fantastic positions in comparison to the cores on DC.
Yeah, who's really going to make plays for DC at this time? Moonmander's 0-3, like still has yet to pick up any sort of dual damage. He's not going for Blink either. He's going for the Armlet to try and tank up a little bit more. We had to go for Aquila. He can't get a Blink or a Morbid Mask that soon. And of course, Naga's just going to be farming her Radiant. So it's kind of on one of these two. They might have to try and make a play soon, or else all these towers are going to be falling.
It's certainly going to be interesting to see how DC can do their best to bring it back after a bit of a rocky start against Secret. Dazzle.
Slaughter has his Blink. He's TPing into the bottom lane. We could be in a lot of trouble. Shrine is not up for 35 seconds.
Let's see how active Kezu can get. Jumps forward. He's only onto illusions, though. So a little bit of a bad reveal there with the Blink Dagger. DC will know to expect it next time.
That's generally why you smoke with the Slaughter or with the Blink Dagger. Like any of the off-lane Blink Dagger carries, it's much safer to smoke so you get a guaranteed kill at least, and won't run into an illusion like that.
Well, Mid1 got a fair bit of space on that top lane whilst all the action was going down bottom. 5k net worth himself is going to be smoked upon. Can DC actually get the kill, though? They head to the north, but Mid1, he's already out to the south, and he is well away. So with this smoke, DC unable to find a lock onto a big hero kill.
Yeah, they definitely would have been able to get the kill on him with double overpower on him. I don't think he had reactive sacks at the time either, so Timbersaw narrowly dodges what would have been a very important gank for DC, but DC are getting nothing out of the map. Just a little bit of farm on the Naga Siren, 1 kill in 13 minutes. Lanes have gone disastrously. Ursa is supposed to be really good in lane versus melee heroes, but again, the 2-on-1 situation in the mid lane just...
Resolution, he's going to have to song if he can, but he can't. The global's there from Puppey and an immediate takedown from Secret. Catching out Rezo, setting him further behind. He did pick up the recipe and a bit of desperation, but of course still a while away to go for that Radiance. It isn't going to be the quick timing that they were hoping for if Secret are able to continue to find these sort of pickoffs.
And that was all unreliable gold too. He has 0 reliable gold because DC have not taken down any objectives or gotten any kills in the entire game pretty much. So, you know, buying Radiance is not that big a deal because he still loses the same amount of gold. He might be in a lot of trouble actually because of that if he keeps on dying, because then he won't have the relic banked.
As we can see, overall net worth 6k lead, comfortable lead for Secret. Definitely not out of the game though, DC. They have got potential. You can bank on maybe Secret overextending. A nice swap play into the kind of the claws of Ursa. Weehaw can still find these kills.
Secret also has really bad building hitters too. Phantom
sure.
Assassin is just not very good. Timbersaw most of the time just can't hit buildings at all.
They found themselves another hit. Saxa will hold back the PA with the magic missile, but it ain't going to do anything about Mid1. Slides past with the Timber Chain, 9 for 1. Secret pick up another. DC have attentions towards that bottom tier 1, looking to try and get an objective themselves. See what Secret want to do about it. Kezu and Puppey in the neighborhood. Bring in MP in as well. They're going to smoke up and go. It was spotted out by the last seconds of this Observer ward from DC, though.
Kezu still might catch them with a move from the sprint. They see Moon.
Doesn't want to go.
Nope. I think that Observer ward caught it.
Should have
just
on
barely,
yeah, just on the edge of it. Maybe obviously couldn't see what was behind them. And in fact, he's found an opening elsewhere. Did jump in onto Saxa. Will be easily purged and saved by Moon. I'll be able to back off mid one. Positioning himself in the jungle here just to the side of the tier 1 in case any sort of defense comes through from DC. MP and Pylai will finish off the tower. Themselves another objective complete and still continue to maintain control of this game, Secret. DC unable to find the lock that they need to find that crucial kill to start to climb them back into the farm game.
I'm really curious to see what Ursa's going to go next. If he goes Morbid Mass, they're going to try and sneak Roche at some point, probably with a cover of the Naga Siren ultimate. But if he goes for Blink Dagger, they actually want to fight back and maybe stop this train that Secret's bringing onto the dire side of the map.
He's got the Blink queued up. Big item pickups, though, for Secret.
So
Mid one, he has the Bloodstone complete. MP, Desolator's done.
That's really scary. I think they can actually just do Roche themselves on the side of Secret. It's very easy with Amp and the Deso.
Oh, and a DD, Ben. Look at these DDs. MP's been having a great time with these. DD and Desolator 16 minutes in. You've just got to run the heck away if you're DC. You cannot withstand the amount of burst that MP can do if he jumps on and even just gets the one crit.
Yeah, Pylai in a little bit of trouble. He's trying to get swapped by Saxa. Saxa only level 7, though, so range is not going to be enough. And still 0 dual damage on Moon Meander.
This will do nicely.
MP, TP down towards the bottom. Actually, no, it looks like he held back on that one. Did cancel the TP. Decided to stay up in the jungle. They've got eyes towards the mid. If Kezu can get the jump, they could try for a kill. Sexer is there with backup behind and does he still have the swap. So the save would be there. Top lane, Misery trying to farm safely, but will reveal himself with the Illuminate. Secret, I'm going to look for the dive, though. So just look to bring the creep wave around. And indeed, Kezu's got to be careful. Immediately blinking away. They've got good vision here in their own jungle, DC. And see exactly what Secret's plans are.
DC are doing a good job of buying time for the Naga Siren. She hasn't been forced to use her ultimate in quite some time, and she is very close to that Sacred Relic. Just 1,200 more gold until they finally get some Radiance and finally get some breathing room. Things are, not looking that great for DC, but this is the most trying part of the game before the Radiance comes out on the Naga Siren. And I think Secret have gotten a lot accomplished, but maybe not enough to deal with potentially a late game Naga. And looks like they are
get this kill now, though,
yeah,
that absolutely could be it.
But he is in a really good spot. He's right next to the tower. He does have a clarity on him, so it's very obvious as to which one the real one is, but Kezu will go the wrong way. Resolution, they still aren't exactly sure where he is. There's still a lot of time left on smoke. He's
going to be the target instead.
Oh, that's a crit.
It certainly is. And with that pickoff, they'll actually just find themselves in a good position to head straight into the Roshan. And very little that DC can do about this, especially with the speed that Secret take it with this lineup and the items that they have. Rezo, 800 away from that relic, as you said. As long as he can get it, it is DC, it's DC Naga. They're so good with this hero. The Radiance, it really is that one little hurdle that they have to climb at the start, and Secret is doing their best to raise the bar as high as possible and make sure that DC trip over it. Bottom lane, TP's already coming in. Secret ready to hold. Sempi going to jump forward, has got the Aegis. He can afford to play with these aggressive plays, and again, just cuts down on the Legion. The damage just ridiculous that's coming out from this PA at this stage of the game. 11 for 1, and with this PA pick, it just seems the Secret know exactly what they're doing, Ben.
Yeah, they really do. But still, the Radiance is coming online very, very soon. They don't have that many solutions to it, but I think with this early game lead, they can at least take a lot of objectives and slow down her item progression. Timbersaw has the BOTs, so they already have a solution for the split push. Like, this Timbersaw is really strong. The net worth might be close in between the Timbersaw and the Naga Siren, but this early in the game when Naga doesn't have any items, and Timbersaw has level 4 reactive, he has no problem at all dealing with the illusions.
Secret just going to move in for another tier 2. Top lane, Pi, trying to pick up some levels, pick up some farm. This bottom lane, we'll see if DC want to do anything about this. Resolution does have the gold, needs to get his way out somehow to that shop to pick the relic up. Secret looks like they'll get this. There'll be a scan from the Radiant. They will spot out Saxa in the neighborhood.
Radiant's top tower
Oh, sorry.
is under
Yeah,
attack.
they spot him out. And in fact, yeah, they want to try and go for him. Kezu already moving across.
Dire's bottom
Can he get the jump? Will be able to jump in immediately onto us. And in fact, with the global silence coming through well, a buying time for Secret to come in. He can't play his way out of this one again. Secret taking down the Fuzzy Wuzzy. 12-1. More and more DC blood is spilt.
Space
the
created.
Radiance is now picked up. 20 minutes in, it's not the ideal timing, but it's a timing that DC can certainly still work with. They can bring this game back around then.
Secret also have good heroes that like bypass the front line, like the Slaughter, the PA, the Timber Saw. They can all just go back to the back line to assault the Keeper of the Light. That's the main hero that I think you want to kill early on, if possible. I mean, if he presents himself, then he's a great target because he's their main staller while they buy time for this Naga Siren. And before Resolution has BOTs, the recall is also extremely useful.
Puppy, I'm getting a little too close here. Saxa and Moon moving in, but Kez, a bit of a bait. Kezu in with a two-man crush. Mid one in the midst of them all with the burst damage, bringing them down low. Moon's trying to get himself out through the trees. Saxa's out, so's Moon. Again, the Secret just finding so many kills in this stage of the game in comparison to what DC can do. 21 minutes in, 14 for 1. Make that 15 for 1 as Kezu's in again with the crush. And I've got to say, Ben, we talked about game 2, how Kezu was struggling to find an impact, maybe focus too much on the farm, but this game 3, he's doing exactly what the team needs him to do on the Slaughter.
Yeah, and I really like the play from the Timbersaw. I think Timbersaw has been playing exceptionally well. Like the way he ran around with just like arcane boots and the stout shield in the early game and just forced DC to bring like 3 or 4 heroes to where he was just made life incredibly difficult for Naga Siren and Ursa.
What can they do to stop this DC? They've lost the tier 3. Secret pushing on to the racks as well. Keeping Resolution held back. Can they get away with finishing this? That's the question. They're kind of toying with the idea, but looks like Secret are going to feel confident in sticking around for the moment. They'll head off, back themselves away, and look to push another day. Not feeling the pressure to get too much done as of yet. Feeling very confident with the lead that they have. 15,000 net worth difference on them at the moment.
It could easily be thrown away with like a blast into a sleep into another blast. We've seen that happen before, and there are no BKBs yet. And yeah, PA probably will survive because of the Aegis of the Immortal, but some of the other heroes may perish. There is no Hood yet on the Timbersaw, no BKB yet on the Slaughter. Maybe not prime time for them to push the high grounds, especially if Keeper of the Light is not dead. I think if Keeper were dead, it'd be super easy for them to go. Again, I think he's the most important hero for the high ground defense on the side of DC. Oh, aside from Naga Siren, but
DC grouping up themselves now up on the top. Have their eyes set on a tier 1. Secret in return. They'll take a tier 2 and very well may pressure in for more and look to force DC back. DC will get the trade. Do manage to claim the tower. Now the TP back starting to come through. Secret move across to the mid lane where the racks are already exposed. Final TP just waiting for Weeha. He's now going to head himself across. The damage starting to being done by Secret. What can DC do to hold this one back? The Aegis has now expired. BKB is complete for MP though. He is going to be feeling very strong in these engagements. BKB, the backup of Pies Dazzle as well, who's had some great farming, great levels on this Dazzle, level 12, Mech and Medallion. A lot that can be thrown down to keep those frontliners as Secret alive if they do wish to make the jump.
Resolution, microing his illusions to the max, trying to stall out this wave push. If they can kill this next wave, I think that DC are going to be pretty happy with the pace.
And look at this, Ben. I mean, just looking at the net worth at the moment, all 4 of DC's members, apart from Resolution, at the bottom of the net worth.
Okay, they TP'd out with the Naga Siren, so maybe they can get some pressure on the side lanes. They still have recall to bring her back. Misery just popped his spirit form. Yeah, Ursa's struggling. That's that's rough. I just didn't really see a good way for him to come back, just because Naga Siren's occupying the jungle, and then none of the lanes are really free for him to take. The supports need the top lane, mid lane was just hell for him, and the bottom lane, the LC needs some items too. But normally they put him in a one-on-one matchup that he would fare a lot better in.
Secret. Will they make the jump this time? MP heading in, clearing out the illusions. DC, who can get the jump in if there's any. It's actually going to be mid-1 jumping in onto them. Links forward, holding them back with a bit of control. MP turning his attention back towards the racks. Just spamming out the daggers. I mean, Saxa just losing huge amounts of his health there to a crit from MP. And there's the jump in from mid-1 and bursting them down low. Saxa will just survive. Now MP comes through. They've got the global silence to make sure that they can bring down Resolution. A quick crit to chop down on Moon. Double kill for MP. The slaughter does just not end. Can they kill anyone on Secret? That's the question. MP jumps back in onto Misery. A crush comes through on Kezu. Onto 2. They've taken down the Ursa. Moon, he says, fight me to MP, but MP fights back. Puppy, he's the successor of this fight as he picks up a double kill. Resolution comes out with the song, but it may be just a little too late here. Saxa in potential trouble as well. It actually look towards Puppy with the Illuminate, bringing him down low. Puppy will tick out to the Radiance damage. They did manage to find the silencer at the end of it all, but huge casualties once again on DC. Secret turn back towards the racks. In fact, MP, he wants blood first. Jumps in with a Kezu Crush onto 2. Now towards Resolution. Saxa swaps Resolution away. But it's just not looking to be enough here from DC as they've lost the mid racks. 21-2 now.
Look at mid-1. He's just walking around without a care in the world.
I mean, how many? He's got 23 Bloodstone charges, Ben.
He was tanking 2 heroes, like 5 creeps, and the tower while they were shrining, and still they can't kill him. That's a sad life. He has a 14 health regen talent, too, so. Yeah. It's a lot of regen. He's almost at full HP.
This is looking pretty brutal, Ben. Probably at the moment one of the kind of biggest leads that we've seen at this tournament. You know, 26 minutes in, 21-2, nearly reaching onto a 26,000 net worth lead, 1,000 a minute.
The YOLO
coming around the corner.
smoke coming from DC, trying to perhaps bait out Wii. But there is a Helmet Dominator creep that identifies exactly where Wii is. The Satyr Banisher just purging him and making his life miserable.
What's he going to do? Will be revealed behind the tower. Mid-1 coming across. They'll look towards Moon, but MP and Kezu immediately in. Weeha jumping into the backlands, looking to bring down MP, but the Grave and the BKB is there in time. Weeha chucks up, silenced up. He's cut down. DC again losing 2. Kezu moving over to Saxa is being brought back, but the damage comes through, holds him in. A 3rd death yet again. I mean, DC, they just can't stop dying, Ben.
Yeah.
Resolution, I mean, he's desperately trying to find something for his team. I mean, he's up there. The rest of his team, they're down there.
It's quite the gamble going for Oxmarine also before the Manta style. Normally you want the Manta style so that if you global silence, you can Manta and then sleep to save your team. But right now, there is no counterplay to the global silence right now, and he is just going to have to worry about his own net worth. That's the only way they can come back in this game. Resolution already TP's on bottom, tries to stall out for better days.
Some of these KDAs looking very impressive, of course. MP 10-0-7. I mean, it really did kind of feel that it all kicked off from that mid lane. The kind of call or the decision, as you said, probably Puppy making to put this dual lane mid. The PA Dazzle combination just absolutely beat out Weeha's Ursa.
Yeah,
there
also
was nothing that DC could do in response in the lanes, it seemed.
Yeah, maybe they could have like paired the Ursa down on bottom, but I don't think I've seen Wii not go in the mid lane before.
Yeah, I think very rarely they can move it around. I mean, Rezo can kind of put it into a bit. They can switch it up.
Well, Nagasar would have gotten destroyed there too.
And that's, with the Naga doesn't really work out. And all talking about the Naga, Ben. She's having a few problems on her plate. Secret jump in. Resolution's out for a full minute. Kezu seeing if he can hunt down for more. On the mid lane, Saxa, and we are finding mid-1. Can they actually bring him down here? He'll Yules himself up. Has the backup of Puppy and Pilar die. It's actually Weeha and Saxa, they're in trouble. They just turn and kill them. 4 dead, and GG is called. The murder and the slaughter finally comes to a stop as Secret just dismantled DC 28-2, 29 minutes in. One of the most brutal games we've had here, Ben.
Keeper Naga, not a guaranteed win for DC. That's for sure.
Yeah, a combination that teams at the last LAN at ESL proved to be very hard to deal with. They didn't have any answers.
I personally don't think it's a Naga patch. Naga just seems a little bit too slow for my liking, but generally DC win the other lanes. With this game, this is what happens when you're behind as a Naga Siren.
Yeah, so hard for Resolution to come back in. I mean, he tried his best. We saw him in Networth. He wasn't falling behind, but the rest of his team just really struggled to find anything. The kind of the pressure, the pace that was being played. I mean, MP's PA, you know, you talk about it not being a patch for the Naga. It certainly feels like it's a patch for MP, on the PA at least. I don't know if we'll see more teams pick it up, but the way that they played it, you know, with that kind of Dazzle and Slaughter combination, it was just unstoppable, man.
I also don't think they really drafted that well against it. Like, they didn't have that much magic damage to actually burst down the Phantom Assassin. I was personally advocating for like a core Skywrath. I think it wouldn't have done as well in the mid lane, but I think it would have been better. At least they have some magic damage to deal with a dual MP, kind of just itemized for full offense and BKB, and like they couldn't touch them at all.
Absolutely not. But there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Team Secret to take the series 2-1 with that impressive Game 3. We'll, of course, see more of them as the day goes on, but that's it for now. So don't go anywhere. Join us very shortly for some more Dota action here at the G2A.com Dota Pit Season 5 LAN.